Hold on, everybody. Technical difficulties for 1 second.
I'm gonna steal your sunshine and I'll shit on your parade. Don't get me started on doing Michael Caine. My opinion matters, yours will fall in last place. I'm not shutting up and you'll be learning my name. Fifth in the family, but first in my mind. 1 out of 10, but I'm ranking just fine. We've only got now, there's no afterlife. Look, Mom and Dad, I'm just speaking my mind. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everyone's coming on Kyle tonight. Wait, what? No, nobody's coming on Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking and drink, smoke, or eat and cry. I never shut up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking and drink, smoke, or eat and cry. I never shut up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome here to Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up Live every Tuesday, 9 o'clock here on the wonderful Houseboat. Tommy Lee Jones have a very, very, very special episode in store for you all this evening. First and foremost, I have to say, welcome to my number two. My number one? My number two. You're my number two.
Yeah.
My number three. One of my twos, Mr. Justin Olimpedo.
What's up, dude?
How's your day going, man?
It's going good.
We never don't have some dumb little issue right off the bat.
True.
But this one, I shouldn't even mention because nobody can tell except
Nobody
us.
can tell, yeah.
Nobody can tell except us. But
I was
this
just
is
not getting audio.
when you're a professional, you bring up the problems and you shine light on them, and that is how you get through. Now, we do have another wonderful person that's going to be joining us shortly who just finished mixing and quote-unquote mastering our single for the week. But those of you that are joining us live here on YouTube, you can tell that we are also joined by a very special guest. Over here, I'm getting good at this. Over here, we've got EgoViking. How you doing today, brother?
Living the dream, man.
Living the dream.
Yeah,
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. This is, I believe, the first time that we have a guest that I have never met in real life ever before. So we are breaking some ground here. I've only met that Charlie character a handful of times.
Just a few times.
And he was very mean to me every single one of those times, all right? Called me Fat Kyle. Realized we never got into that on that episode of how Charlie, just so you know, Ego, Charlie, our wonderful friend, Almost Adorno, met me in a bar one day when I walked in, and he just shouted, "Fat Kyle!" And I went, "What?" And I walked up and I was like, "Hi, how do you know me?" and he was like, "Oh, you're not fat, Kyle." I'm Kyle, and I'm fat. So you kind of have it right.
But the other kicker to the story is we have our other buddy named Kyle Schumann, who looks like a taller, stretched out version of Kyle.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And we kind of had the same similar like pompadour, Jimmy Neutron.
Jimmy Neutron
curl.
curl.
We had the little curl thing at the same time, and he was way cuter than me. So we just got to give him that. But he called me Fat Kyle, so that's how we met. And I don't know if I like the guy. I know I love him, but I don't know if I actually like him. But we'll be all right with it. Yeah. He's skinny Charlie. I'm fat Kyle. It's just the way we're gonna go. All right. So this week I learned a new trade, I learned a new skill.
Yes.
I actually left it over there, but I made a mask out of a sock.
Oh yeah.
It's
I saw
really
it.
Oh, nice.
Okay, I saw this video. Zach and I were drinking some whiskey on Saturday, and right before we started drinking whiskey, I saw this video, and it was literally just a lady holding a sock up, and then she just like cut the bottom toe of like an ankle sock off, and then cut the slit, and then fold it over and cut 2 side slits, and then just stretch the sock like that, and it was a perfect mask. And I did it perfect on the first try, and now I've tried with about 12 other socks.
So what you're saying is you don't have any more socks.
I'm losing socks. I am losing socks. But I tried it with a bunch of other ones. I tried it with like a tube sock. I tried it with like a fancy, nice, like what I would call a dinner sock. You're going to a nice dinner
like
and you're
nice
wearing
soft sock.
some good soft ones, some weird yellow ones that had a bumblebee pattern on them. None of them worked. But the shitty 99-cent pair of like dollar store socks that I tried it on, the first one, worked wonderfully.
Yeah.
Now my floor is literally just covered. It looks like a black bunny was just running around jerking off, and when it jerked off, it threw little fluffs of fur everywhere. That's what it looked like. A black bunny was jacking into my room.
Well, you gotta watch out for those black bunnies.
You gotta watch out. Black bunnies, white bunnies, green bunnies especially.
Yeah, they're
bunnies
fast too.
are fucking weird. The white bunnies are evil. They got real sharp teeth. Oh, they're not good.
Sally Alta Boy says it's because we're always mean to Almost Adorno, so he's just paying it forward.
He's got it.
Yeah.
You got it. I get that. I was picked on most of my every day. So it makes sense that somebody's got thrown at me.
We talk to him. Is that mean though? Like it's a lot of human interaction for him.
Yeah, you need to be nice even to the mean people, and the tardy people. The mean people and the tardy people, you got to be nice to. Hey,
you don't say that.
I'm sorry, you're not tardy. You're just a little late. We are now joined by the mixer, the master, Zachary Storman. Nice solid pop there. Solid pop.
It hurt my finger.
Yeah, you'd be a good father because that was a solid pop. That was a solid pop. You'd be a solid pop. You'd be a good father. Those words all mean, they have multiple meanings. All right, so every week we like to gather around our proverbial fire here and drink some drinks. Yes. So let's jump right into what are we drinking tonight?
We drink it so you don't have to. Reviewing in the morning from the bathroom. Cheap booze and craft brews. Reviewing in the morning from the bathroom. What are we drinking? What are we drinking? Yeah!
Alrighty, so usually what we do is we get a beer to sip on, which is, tonight it's Rolling Rock. We're just sipping on some Rolling Rock. Yeah. Remember when we had a green screen behind us on this wall, and we decided to drink Rolling Rock the one day, and we're holding it up, and it was just like sketched out as all looking. It was just all like kind of just like, it was all jittery looking. I miss those days. But we're sipping on some Rolling Rock. And then Justin and I decided, we've been looking at these wonderfully designed cans
so we
of
came
beer.
up with an idea.
So what we are going to do
next
couple of weeks until we go through all the weird cans, and if we want to start, we can start with the Kingsguard. Zach's already got that in his hand. We are going with beer that has really cool artwork on it. And now the first one that we're going with is called Kingsguard. It is an IPA, and it is the LIC Beer Project of Queens, New York. So it's definitely awesome. Really, really cool all over the place. But the idea behind this venture into weird beer is does it taste as good as the art looks? Does the beer taste as good as the art looks? Because a lot of times...
Yeah. What do you think?
Thumbs up or thumbs out? I just think that this is... It just says an IPA. There's
just
nothing else.
IPA. Also, I'm thinking
crazy
that
about it.
they have multiple labels for the same beer, but they have 2 different beers.
Yeah,
it's not going to be nearly as good.
It's not going to be nearly as good as the artwork because the artwork is phenomenal. This looks like a really cool wall somewhere in Brooklyn somewhere. All right, so we're going to give this a little sip. I feel like it's just going to be an IPA in a really cool can.
Oh, it's great.
Is it good?
It's good.
Yeah. It's not a bad IPA. It's all right.
It's just if the aliens landed and they were like,
all right,
what does IPA taste like?
This is it.
Yeah.
We generally seem to lean towards beverages that could just be a plain black can with the title or the name of it on the side. This could just say IPA on the side of it in a plain black can, and you would enjoy it. If you handed me this, I would assume that if I asked for a Sweetwater 420 Pale Ale and you handed me this, I'd be okay with it. I wouldn't be able to tell it is a very middle of the road IPA. It's going to be something I think is going to be tasty to sip on. We don't have too many of them, so we're not going to get too full. And then the second one that we are looking at today, you don't necessarily have to crack into it just now, but I am going to, is the Oliver Brewing Company Winter's Wolves. It is Winter's Wolves. It's a dark ale brewed with honey and heather tips and conditioned on toasted American oak. I think it's bits of girls named Heather.
I went to high school with a girl named Heather.
I lost my virginity to a girl named Heather.
Well, I didn't get to bang this Heather.
She got the tip.
She was crazy.
Oh, no. This Heather, I know that she got the tip.
She was hot, though.
Yeah, this one looked more like an American oak. But this, either way, sturdy
Wait
gal.
a minute.
Sturdy gal. Real tall, long roots, very sturdy gal. So Winter's Wolves, this one I believe should have sold 6 months ago.
Heather, you're sweet.
Is Heather sweet? That was the question for me.
Sweet and that bitter sort of sweet.
Okay, so to me, Winter's Wolves is as good as the artwork.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
It is really good.
Now, if you're a fan of craft beer, I would liken this to some of my favorites. I would liken it to a, maybe like a, what was it? Not Dreamweaver, but the Victory. Dreambeaver. Victory's got that Moonglow. Moonglow. Their Weizenbach has kind of got that feeling to it. Weizenbach or Troganator even. It's kind of got a Troganator feel to it. Definitely more my style.
Troganator's harsh in like a good way.
Like after one of them, they're just the smoothest things in the world.
Like getting beat up by your dad.
Oh, yeah. It's like the nicest, meanest thing that can happen.
So Kingsguard to me, artwork's better than the beer. The beer is good.
Yeah.
But as far as like a scale to artwork, like I've been looking at this for months.
Yep.
And I've been like, fuck, do I get this? Do I get this?
I like that they overstate the can and understate the beer. Yes. I'll give them that. They definitely, but I would say, yeah, Kingsguard wins the best design out of these two for sure.
Yes.
But Winter's Wolves is a way better beer.
Ego, are you drinking anything? Do you have
you got any beverages over there for you?
I had to look it up here while you guys were talking because the best art I've ever seen on beer was the Trooper, that Iron Maiden beer.
Oh, yeah, the Trooper beer. Yeah.
And that was awful.
Oh, the beer is terrible.
The beer's not great.
The art was fantastic, but the beer was terrible.
We also did the Metallica one, which is the same company that licensed out the Iron Maiden stuff.
Yeah, the only band-related one that I really liked, we had a Talking Heads one, I think.
It was Flying Dogs.
Flying Dogs
from
Grateful Dead.
Well, they have the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
No.
Somebody.
Flaming Lips.
Flaming Lips. Yeah. That beer is awesome.
Talking Head, yeah. If you combine the two of them, you get the Flaming Lips. That's in my head how that works.
Charlie, which one? The Winter's Wolves beer?
What does he say?
He says, what brewery is that from again?
Oh,
Winter's Kingsguard or Winter's
Oliver Brewing Company is Winter's Wolves. I have never heard of this brewing company. They are out of Baltimore, Maryland, so they are a semi-local to all. Big ups to Maryland. Big ups to MD. Big ups to MD. That's a thing now. You made that a fucking thing.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I'd say both of them are good. Try them out. You got nothing else going on in your life right now like me. You're just drinking beer. Try something weird. Try something a little off-center and be like me and have 3 almost fully open beers to get through for the rest of this show. It's going to be good. Zach will be done by the time our What's Happening jingle's done with probably both.
I need like one of those beer helmets, though.
Oh, my God. I had one. I don't know where I did it.
I have one.
Yeah,
I had one for work.
You did?
No, I should.
Oh, I was like, I think you said you had one for work. I was just like, what? Yeah. This is whenever I'm driving long distances to drive another vehicle in a circle on a field, I like to have my beer helmet hammered.
Now, did you say you were actually drinking a beer right now, or do you have a beverage yourself, Ego? Are you having a beer right now?
Right now, I'm just drinking some water.
Okay.
And
smart.
for beer wise, I'm in the unfortunate situation that I didn't go to the store last, which means that somehow Michelob Ultra.
Ooh, nice.
Okay.
Standard.
What is it called? What's that? White Claw.
Oh, nice.
Hey,
Got it.
plenty
Claw's
of
the law,
in our
brah.
house, and then the Sam Adams Summer Ale.
Okay. All right.
So I
If
feel
you
it's my
mix all
fault now
three
that
of them
summer kind of
together,
stopped.
that's a pretty good beer.
And we're
Mix
back
all
there.
of them into one.
Yeah, there you
Make
go.
a giant, foamy, delicious mix.
And just shotgun 'em.
Use
You're good.
the black cherry of the White Claw. We all know that those are the best ones. And next time, if you're gonna get a hard seltzer, just go with the Keystone seltzer. It's the best one.
That's what you bought, the black cherry. And then I opened the refrigerator and there's two of them. I'm like, how did this happen? And she's like, oh, I heard they were great. And then she hasn't had them yet. I guess I have to just commandeer them and just not tell
They're
them.
like drinking. I'll tell you this: drinking White Claw is like drinking water that gets you drunk.
Yes.
In the best way, because you don't wake up super dehydrated like you would drinking a bunch of liquor or drinking a bunch of beer, but you drink them really quick because they're the size of a Red Bull can. So I think in your head you're just like, oh, Red Bull, crush.
It's the same amount of ounces.
Yeah, it's just in your head. It's a mental
What you
game.
really got to do with the White Claw is you put vodka in it.
Yes. It's a great mixer.
It makes it even
starting point.
stronger.
Get black cherry vodka with the black cherry, or just non-flavored vodka with that. It's enough flavor in there.
My dad drinks wine too.
It makes
red
a great
wine
spritzer.
and seltzer,
yeah, a little bit of cab, and then throw in the black cherry. Even a lime with that. You make it like almost like a little like a red wine mojito-esque. I don't remember alcoholic beverage names because I haven't had a bartender
You're
in
gonna
2
suck
months.
at work when you get back.
I gotta go in tomorrow to train. I'll just tell you this: we gotta go train. We're getting a new POS system. So she's like, "While this is all happening, you might as well come in and train."
Might as well do it now.
So we get to go in and get drunk and fed
Hey,
for
nice.
free and look at a computer. I'm not gonna know how to use a POS, but I'll take the meal for you.
I got somebody saying Michelob Ultra Passion Dragon Fruit.
Ooh.
And then Charlie said he got so fucking wrecked on White Claw, didn't even know what happened.
Yeah.
Woke up in the morning fine.
Totally fine. It's a clear drunk. It's like an ever clear drunk, except without the burn all of the time. I've never woken up feeling terrible.
Or the
after.
throwing up of pieces of fruit.
Yeah.
I lived in Ohio when they came out with the Four Loko.
Oh,
and that was like one of the first places.
Good
that was
stuff.
dangerous.
Yeah, that stuff
That
was.
Yeah, I almost bought
pre Four Loko lawsuit.
Yeah, dude, I almost bought a bunch of Four Loko last night. Me and my roommate Mike, we were talking.
It's not the same.
It's
anymore.
not. It's not anymore.
It doesn't have the caffeine in it.
It doesn't.
Back in the day, though.
Oh my god!
When the caffeine
8 cups
was
of
in it?
coffee in one. Yeah,
you were
like
saying
8 Red
that
Bulls in
at the
one.
time.
You
That's when
die.
you guys bought up cases of the shit.
Okay, so the day that it went illegal to have the caffeine in it,
Yeah.
we bought 300 cans.
Oh, right. When you were in California at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, well, we didn't buy them. A friend of ours
Yes.
went on a wild tangent and drug us with him to buy all this stuff. And then we got it all somehow. So it was
Works
a wild
out.
turn of... I'm not going to lie and say that I paid for all that because it didn't.
You
We
did.
got very lucky.
You're not stupid, but
But
you drank it, so you're
But
stupid.
we were also stupid because we ended up with 300 cans of Four Loko. And we're
and
all...
were they the big ones still at that point? Like, it's not like they made small ones.
And I'm 20.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we have 300 cans of that in the apartment.
You would think
Everywhere we went, it was just Four Loko
You
for
would
months,
think that,
dude.
that much Four Loko would last you like 6 months, but how long did it actually last you?
2 months maybe.
I was gonna say, you're drinking more than one of them
Well,
a day.
we were sharing. People were coming over and we were sharing them.
Yeah.
But we were like,
Everybody gets one. It's
Yo,
like
we got
Spider-Man.
a party to go to. Fill a backpack just full of Locos.
And if there were 4 of you everywhere you went, you could have been the Four Locos.
Then
You
we
could
were
have
buying.
changed your
We were
name,
buying fresh
your
fruit
band name,
and making
Ooh.
smoothies with the fruit, and then putting the Four Loko in the smoothies.
That's not a thing you do.
Because it was the Four Loko is so bad. We're just trying to
man.
make it better. It was all right.
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I've gotten to the point where I'm just mixing stuff like that with juice. I'll just like go to the store. I'll grab a thing of Four Loko or a similar 8 to 15% can of shit beverage. and then mix it with some, nice, not natural juice beverage, some red drink, some green drink, some purple drink, whatever you want to, whatever flavor colored
some
drink
extra
you
ginger,
like.
ginger ale.
Exactly, extra. Oh my.
Well, that's a big thing too. You know when you're like, what do you got? I got the red drink. You like. I know what that tastes like.
It's either cherry or you're the weird company that makes red apple. Like, I don't know why you do that.
No, it's like the Hawaiian Punch. That's like the red drink.
Punch, just red.
It's just like, what flavor is it?
Red.
It's red.
And then the orange. Well, orange, I guess, is the name of the thing, too.
Does anybody else taste blue right now?
Yeah. What?
Well,
you know what blue tastes like.
It's always weird to me when a company makes a drink and they call it the color. So, like, purple.
Yeah.
Like, I've bought stuff that was literally labeled as purple.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is
drink.
purple?
But you know,
But at least they're honest, though, right?
Yes, at least they're honest.
At least they're honest. They're like, we don't know what's in this shit.
Now, would you get nervous if you bought purple drink and it was in like a can and then you poured it out and it was not purple? You'd be like,
if it was anything but clear
what
at that point,
flavor is this supposed to be?
Yeah.
If it was yellow and it was labeled purple,
no.
And it was grape, it was just the other grape, and they didn't realize that.
Well, I mean, did you get weirded out the first time that you poured an energy drink out of the can?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
And you're like, wait, this looks like fucking.
It looks like electronic pee. It looks like electronic pee.
Yeah, it looks like coolant.
Yeah, it looks like some coolant that you're fucking pulling.
Tastes like coolant a little bit, too.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, well, coolant is sweet. That's why
animals
if
go
you're
for
trying to kill your neighbor's pets,
don't heed the advice.
You leave out a bowl of coolant. Animals love drinking.
Yeah.
There's some other stuff. My brother was telling me the other day. Was it like JD 302? Used to be the hydraulic oil for John Deere heavy equipment in the 60s.
Okay.
Sure.
And in the 70s, they had to stop making it because all manner of wildlife, pets and wild animals, just love to drink it. You know what I mean? If you had a machine that was leaking or something,
and is that instant death or is that slow poison?
It's not instant, but it's not.
If a
slow.
squirrel drinks the amount that a dog can drink,
within a couple hours, they're dead. Yeah. And it was just they had to come up with a new formula because it tasted too good.
That's amazing. I've never tasted motor oil or anything like that, and found I liked it.
Transmission.
Oh, I've gotten it in, but I've never liked it. I've never liked it. Okay. Never, ever. But last night, instead of going Four Loko, me and my roommate decided that we would bring back an old tradition. And Justin had never heard of this.
I've never heard of this.
But we played Edward 40 Hands last night.
Never heard of it.
Really? He's never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
I was like, how have you gone 72 years of life?
We didn't really drink 40s. We were making fucking
you
wizard
never listen
staffs.
To Hollywood Undead?
Wow.
We were making wizard staffs.
You were cooler than us.
You know?
I've heard of it, and I'm not even from the U.S.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Come on.
Man.
Come on. So basically, for those of you that might not know, if you're 78 years old like Justin and didn't have 40s back in the day, we went with Old D because Billy D is the man, and I wore gloves, and because we were going to do it outside, and so I wore gloves, and you duct tape a 40 to each of your hands, and you're not allowed out until you finish both 40s. And I said we would definitely finish them in an hour. Like 80 ounces of beer in an hour, that's not. That's 5-6 pints, that's nothing. I finished the first one right at the 15-minute mark, but I chugged like a third of the beer in the last 30 seconds. And then I did not sip another sip of the beer for 10 minutes because I was definitely about to vomit. But we got through it all, and then we were going to challenge ourselves to a case race and try to finish the case. But luckily I fell asleep sitting in the chair before I could do that, so it was good. Yeah. It was good. Fell asleep outside in a bathrobe, drunk after 2.
Your tax dollars at work.
There you go,
stimulus
people.
Money.
That stimulus check is going far. All right, guys, let's jump into what is happening in the world. What's going on? What's new? What's crazy? What's sad? What's amazing? Who knows? I don't know. Let's see what's happening.
All right.
Hey, what's happening? Hey, what's happening in the world? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Hey, what's happening? Hey, what's happening in the world? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Hey, what's happening? Hey, what's happening in the world? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
All right, there I go scaring myself again on that.
All the time, dude.
Oh,
you need to work on that shit.
Oh, jeez. All right, so what is going on in the world? Obviously, everybody's dealing with COVID-19 and all the effects that is having on our lives day to day. What you want to be doing, what you are actually able to do. Sup, James? We talked about this a couple of weeks ago that movie theaters in Georgia were planning on opening up like a week ago.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is that they were going to plan on doing old classics and everything like that. So officially, movie theaters have petitioned the studios, and they've gotten the approval that they are going to be doing rollouts of classic, retro movies.
So as I was joking before, they're going to break out their DVDs.
And they're going to break out their DVDs.
The Criterion Collection.
The Criterion Collection, which I would go see almost all of them. Seven Samurai to fucking Wes Anderson. I'll watch all of them on the big screen. But they're going to be doing them at $2 a pop. $2 a pop, like old school movies.
Because they're banking on people getting
popcorn and all of that. Which is, if you know anything about movie theaters, they don't make money for the first 6 weeks usually off of any movie sales. Sometimes months. But off the actual ticket sales. So them charging only $2 for a ticket means that the fucking companies don't care. They already profited off of, you're going to go see Shawshank again? Cool.
Sure.
They'll take
probably
their $2.
Bought the DVD 14 different times.
Yeah, but now you can see it on a real big screen.
Yes.
Yeah, you can go down to your local independent theater.
You know who's been doing this for a long time?
Who?
Pocono Cinema.
Pocono Cinema does do the throwbacks on
We've
DVD.
Seen a bunch of them.
We made a reference to it.
Cinemark does it too.
Cinemark does. They'll do like one. I think it's like on Tuesday or Thursday. They usually that's where you can see Casablanca or the Maltese Falcon.
And Pulp Fiction.
And what they actually do,
that's sweet,
is they do play Blu-rays. Just so you know, they don't get the films. They don't get it because all of that stuff, especially the older the film. They've modernized their technology, so it's all digital. They get basically like the film on a hard drive that has encryption.
New movies and old movies. They're doing
so they will play the HD remasters of Blu-rays and shit like that. I'm not saying not to go to the theaters, but I mean, for me personally, this whole story is not enough for me to be like, I'm going back out to the movie theater.
$2
I just had the fucking greatest fucking idea ever.
What?
You know how
Sorry, go ahead.
You know how they got like you can go to the movie theater to watch like live plays, like stream that shit? Why not set that shit up for esports?
They do.
In movie theaters?
In the movie theater.
Oh, well, I mean, I think that maybe Ego, but Charlie, maybe you can chime in on this. I think they have for some of the bigger ones. I think League of Legends or Dota has done from the movies.
Okay,
for like Cinemark or
how
AMC.
Wild would that be?
And how
to,
long
like,
of an
go
event
watch,
is
like,
that? Like, that's not just you're sitting down. Like, that's
it's
usually
a couple hours.
A couple hours,
like 5-6 hours.
So you
for
can
the
sell a
ones.
lot of money, a lot of concessions. Like, fucking, if I know anything about people that like to play video games, I don't know much, but they don't mind snacks. They do not mind snacks and big gulps and things along those lines.
Ego, what were you
and
going
a
to say?
comfortable chair.
I was going to say, I mean, so all the movie theaters around where I'm at, here in South Carolina, they have gone from the old, where they have 50 seats in a row, right? All the crowded seats, to the big, comfortable,
the electronics.
But those aren't 6 feet from each other, right?
No.
So what are they going to do? Are they going to cut every other seat? That means a movie theater has 25 seats now?
The way they're going to do it is 6 feet would be about you with 2 seats in between you and then the next person. Right. But even that isn't really a full 6 feet. But I think that's probably the minimum. They're going to have to sell a third of the tickets for each showing.
For every showing.
And since
that's a lot of popcorn to make up for it then.
It's really a lot of popcorn. But
which the prices will probably go up. So your small popcorn's probably now $8.
I could see them not, because the idea to me would be there are no new movies coming out. Nobody is going to put out their Black Widows, or even the new Pete Davidson movie that looks phenomenal. That Judd Apatow, the King of Staten Island movie, was supposed to be released like beginning of June. That is just being straight released to streaming. Nobody wants to release it in the theaters because it's just a death sentence for your film. So it makes sense if you could go to the movies tomorrow and they're going to be showing, just all James Cameron movies. You're going to get Titanic. You're going to get fucking Terminator 1, Terminator 2, nothing else after that. And you're just going to get, so each theater can have its old retro movie, multiple showings a day, everything like that.
Would you go to all 8 Harry Potter movies in a
In
row?
one day?
I probably would.
I would it in one
a
day.
marathon?
Would.
Yeah, just a marathon.
I mean, they're not the longest. Most of them are an hour and a half. Really.
Yeah, I
Harry
would
Potter?
say
Yeah, most
some
of
of
them
the
are.
the early ones are like hour
Maybe
30, hour
one,
45.
maybe 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
But once
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get to 4,
Oh, yeah.
Once you get
then
to
they get
4,
long.
they get so long that number 7 is 2 movies, you know? Like, they
Yeah.
get that long.
Chat is bringing up drive-ins, and drive-ins are a thing. There's a drive-in not far, about an hour from here.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. I mean, bring back drive-ins as far as that goes. But the problem with that is those drive-ins have all got swallowed up. Like the one I grew up going to in New Jersey is now a golf course.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're very far and few between. The one that used to be where Blockbuster is now, or not even Blockbuster, but the Blockbuster building.
Yeah.
There used to be a drive-in back over there.
Yep,
and
I
that
remember
was,
hearing about that.
what is that?
Yeah.
It's not Blockbuster. It's like dialysis.
It's
a
a
dialysis
dialysis
place
yeah.
now.
But it still looks like a Blockbuster.
But the thing, I mean, drive-ins are great, but the thing is they still have to provide a place for people to go to the bathroom.
yeah.
I mean, you can't just be like, yo, you have to piss next to your car.
there
That's
are
what
a
you
lot
do
of-
if you work at Amazon. You just piss in a bottle.
Or you just pee your pants and just wait for someone to yell at you for being slower because your pants are wet or whatever.
Well, fun fact, I think you used to work for Amazon, did you not, Ego?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Did you ever
Nobody
pee your
peed their
pants?
pants.
No,
nobody peed their
nobody
pants?
peed their pants. All right, well that's good.
Well-
That's good. I'm gonna keep
I mean,
the
not that
rumor
I know.
I poop my
alive.
pants at work all the time.
Yeah, you do. You
That
do.
is true. I've had
But
the
there are a
same
lot
one.
of places I've seen that are just parking lots that are like, hey, we can turn our parking lot into a drive-in movie.
Yeah.
And then if you've got a little radio signal and you can broadcast the audio from it and everyone can just tune their car
Yes. It's an
without
FM
having to need the
receiver.
box
Yeah.
and all like the old school approach
Yeah,
to
it's
it.
an FM receiver.
Yeah, so it's not terrible. It's not a terrible idea. $2 movies makes me want to go to the movies a little bit more, but I'm
okay.
still not okay with being in a room
Okay,
full of a
if
bunch of coffers.
there are certain movies that I totally missed out on, like some of the like I would like to I would like to see Godzilla, the newest Godzilla. I've watched it.
Yeah.
It's on HBO.
But you
I
didn't
would
get
really
to
like
see
to
it
watch
on
it
the big screen.
Yes,
Yeah.
there are certain movies, but $2 and a time where we don't know what the fuck is really going on with anything. You hear one thing on one side, you hear another on another. And who the
I
fuck
don't know.
knows? $2 is not enough. I have a big enough TV here.
Yeah, exactly.
I have all the media and entertainment I
I can
need
go
right
down
here.
to Weiss
Fuck
and
it.
I can get myself some popcorn and save $1,000 on that. Slacky is saying in the chat here that his idea is for drive-in concerts.
That would be
so
cool.
you can just pull up in your car. If you have a truck, just hang out in the back of your car. Or if you're not, just hang out outside your car. Keep everybody parked away from each other. If like you could sell it that you get one parking spot and then a spot on either side of you. You know, like so everybody's all spread out and zigzag them throughout the parking lot.
But you're gonna
Put on
jam
big
a bunch
concert.
of drunk people in the back of trucks
Yes.
in a field and
Yes.
expect me not to go over to that guy's truck and
Yeah.
see what they're fucking doing over there?
Yeah, see, that's on you though.
No
That's
way.
on you. That's just all on
it's
you.
it's like parade when everyone's got their truck parked on the
Yeah.
street here.
Yeah.
And there's a party in the back of every pickup truck.
Uh-huh.
And you just walk down the street like, hey, what's this party?
again,
Let me go to the next place.
That's on
What's
your.
this
That's
party?
that's
Hey,
on
what
your
you guys
conscience.
cooking over here, huh?
Exactly, exactly. They would have to very strictly enforce that you don't get out of your vehicle. I
Yes.
guess. Rocket.
But-
Just
but
they would
park
tape
your
your car
car
up.
in a new way.
They didn't I read somewhere where AMC theaters had banned like a certain company or something. They were not going to show their movies anymore because the company kept saying, "Oh, well, we are going to go to a theater and directly to like."
Oh, I don't know. It's got to be
That's possible.
It's got to be a small company that doesn't have a lot of pull with
mean,
AMC.
No, I
let's
thought
face it.
I thought it was a big company.
Really? Yeah, I'm not
could
sure.
be.
About
Yeah.
that. I'm
It
not
could be.
sure about that.
And
But
they,
let's
they were
face
like,
it,
no,
that
but then
is-
we're not going to show you movies at all.
Yeah.
That is the wave of the future, though. It's eventually going to be a point where you're going to be able to pay $20 to watch everything from your house.
James also is having a great idea in the chat. Demo Derby Mosh Pit.
There you go.
The band starts playing Circle Pit.
We start crashing our
Everybody
cars
just starts.
into each other?
No, everyone just starts drifting.
Wait.
In circles.
I think you might be right.
Oh, it'd be
AMC
great.
bans Universal films from theaters.
Wow,
That's a
is
big move.
amazing.
Oh my God.
That's a big move.
Universal.
Yeah,
That
they
just
said
happened.
something like, no, we're going to go to a two-prong. So we're going to send it to theaters and to like direct.
People
and,
don't like multiple prongs. They just want to be the
yeah,
only prong.
and that's just going to destroy it for the movie theater, you know?
Yeah, and I mean it's something that is kind of slipping, and maybe like a lot of other things after this, maybe we're going to see the sad, unfortunate death of certain technologies and certain businesses, but maybe it's just going to be for the
It's
better in the
over a
long
really
run.
stupid movie.
Oh, what movie is
Trolls Universal.
it? Really?
That's
Justin Timberlake is pissed.
That's gonna be big for parents that got their bratty ass fucking kids at home.
Yep.
Trolls is gonna come out. They'll be like, they put it on the TV like
On
the new
repeat,
Trolls.
next 3
Boom.
days. See you later,
Wow.
kids.
Wow.
Peanut butter and jellies in the jars. Do it yourself.
That's the
Mom's
stupidest.
out.
That's a really dumb move for a movie theater to be
Yeah.
like, I'm not putting
They're
Universal
really puffing
movies
their
in.
chests up there.
But are they doing subsidiaries of Universal?
I don't know. Yeah, you got to kind of go down the line.
You know what I mean? Like, is it just like, hey,
A24
fuck
or
it?
anybody else like that that's a smaller subsidiary of a larger company? Does
Yeah.
it really affect them? Maybe. It might. The only other thing that I really wanted to talk about, aside from rest in peace Jerry Stiller, we lost a
Yeah,
great,
unfortunately.
unfortunate. He was 92 years old, so he had a good run.
Yeah.
But one of the coolest things.
We also
that-
lost Little Richard this
we
week.
did
we
lose
did.
Little
We
Richard. That's actually the coolest thing I was going to know.
God.
One of the coolest
Siegfried
things
and
I-
Roy guys.
Yeah. One of the things I really, really am looking forward to on May 15th, the Food Network on their Facebook page at 5 o'clock East
Oh, yeah,
Coast
you were
time,
telling
me. Oh, is
Eastern
this,
Standard Time.
yeah, I heard about it.
Terry Crews and Shaquille O'Neal are judging a nacho cook-off that is going to be called Nacho Average Showdown, and it is going to be between Guy Fieri and Bill Murray and their sons.
Can I-
so it's
can I
Guy
first
Fieri and
off-
Hunter Fieri, and then Bill Murray and Homer Murray, which great fucking name on him for naming his son that wound up being the fat one, Homer Murray. It was just foresight on that. He was like, "You're gonna be the chubby one, kid."
What's the name of this thing again?
It's called Nacho Average Showdown.
Okay, can we just talk about the title for a second?
Nacho Average Showdown. It's great.
it is.
It's
It
amazing. I like good wordplay. I like a good pun.
I
And
mean, I don't know.
I just wanna
growing
see-
up, there was always the joke of that's nacho cheese.
Yeah, nacho cheese. Exactly. They went cheap on it. They went real
did.
cheap on
They
the
did.
joke. But
Oh,
the
man.
idea of Guy Fieri, who is just he just comes off as such a douche, but he's literally never. There's never been anybody that is as hated for doing as much good shit in the world, and helping out small businesses, and just doing it all with a flame T-shirt and ridiculous hair. He's just a douche because of the way he looks. But Bill Murray versus just makes me like Guy Fieri more than Bill Murray, who won't do 90% of the things thrown at him. Went, you know what? Yeah, I'll do a nacho cook-off with
Fuck
you
it.
for charity.
That's cool, dude.
It's amazing.
Guys,
I hope we
Triple D
get
is
more of that.
awesome.
I hope we get more of that. More cooking
As we
shows
like
where
to-
it's
as-
a celebrity chef cooking off against somebody that is not a celebrity chef, just a celebrity.
I mean, me and Charlie referred to a show, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, was Fatty Eats Food. So,
Oh, Fatty
I mean,
Eats Food.
you
Yeah.
know?
How do you not like it though?
It's
No,
so
no.
good.
Wholesome.
It's so
I'm not
great.
saying that I don't like it, but I'm just saying
That's
that's
the only
what we
reason that
referred it to
the
as.
unfortunately now closed Chatterbox in New Jersey stayed open for the last 10 years. They were one of the best places for like a car show, like classic car nights and everything like that, bike nights,
Yeah.
and just a great classic
Although
cheeseburger.
he has the worst sauce name ever, Donkey Sauce. Rename the
Donkey
shit.
Sauce
dude.
is
Rename the
amazing.
fucking sauce.
Nah,
Sorry.
man, I'm going to Flavortown, USA, and I'm sucking down I will suck that donkey sauce right from the donkey.
It's garlic
source.
aioli, basically.
From the
Of course, it's
donkey's teeth.
white,
The
fucking
donkey's
chunky sauce. So maybe that's
Okay,
why.
do you think the donkey sauce comes from the donkey teat or the donkey dong? Where do you think the donkey sauce comes
Donkey
from?
do.
Donkey
I
teat.
don't know, dude.
That'll do, donkey. That'll do.
That's enough sauce,
That's
donkey.
enough sauce, donkey. All right, guys. All right, well. Oh, that's great. Tonight, speaking of sucking off donkeys, we've got wonderful music in store for you guys tonight. Transitions are everything. We are going to be featuring a band from northern Colorado called the Midnight Horrors. The song that we're going to be playing for you is called Horrors. Called I said it before, I'm going to be drunk enough to just say the Midnight Horrors when it gets
Midnight
there.
Horrors.
The Midnight Horrors. Different band that I would also listen to. But the song is called
Horrors.
The Unholy. You can find them on Facebook, Bandcamp, Spotify, Twitter, Instagram. Just look for The Midnight Horrors. They've got kind of varying names on all the different accounts, but you'll be able to find them that way. Again, they're from NoCo, Northern Colorado.
Where in Northern Colorado?
They don't specify. I think they just like the illusion of mystery on
all
where
of Northern Colorado.
They're on a peak in the Rockies. They're from Coors. They're from Golden, Colorado.
Well, like Northeast Colorado would still be pretty plainy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but depending. I'm just gonna assume that they live on a mountaintop. They live on a peak of a mountain.
That's what okay. They live on a fucking.
They live on, and especially
the highest peak.
They are definitely they are the horror punk vibe. They say that some of their influences include bands like Alkaline Trio, which is what initially drew me to them. Okay. I found them via a Facebook ad, so I don't know.
All right.
I've never done the ads on Facebook, but apparently it works because I found a band from Colorado that is right up my alley based on the algorithm just advertising them to me.
Yeah.
So again, this is the Midnight Horrors. The single is called The Unholy. So we're going to jump right into that. Be back in a couple of minutes. Enjoy. And we'll be back to talk about our Brunch Weekly Original Single, which is just going to be a real weird one, I feel like.
Yeah, probably.
It's going to be strange. All right, guys. Enjoy the Midnight Horrors.
Horrors.
The Midnight Who's.
Search out and destroy the marauding ghouls. Kill the brain, and you kill the ghoul.
The darkness gathers, the souls around. The clock ticks, call us up from the underground. The scent of death is on our clothes. It feeds our hunger for flesh, ripe and yellow bones. We are the hunters. Voices in your head.
Alrighty, guys. Again, there you have it. That is The Unholy from the Midnight Horrors. Definitely, them saying that they are influenced by Alkaline Trio definitely shines through in that.
Yes,
in the
sure.
chat, who said...
Solid Ultra.
Oh, yeah, it's like Dan Andriano. It's the other guy from every pop punk band who would sing, some songs. It wasn't always the main guy. So it's like Mark Hoppus. It's like Dan from Alk. It's like the other guy from the Asian guy from Homegrown. And I remember listening to Alkaline Trio and knowing that there were two different vocalists.
Sure.
But not ever realizing that, like, I would listen to one song and be like, oh, I really like this band. And then I'd listen to another song and be like, yeah, Alkaline Trio's good. And then one day I realized it was the same band I was listening to, just they had two different singers. Definitely go, again, check them out. You can find them on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Bandcamp, and Spotify, The Midnight Horrors. They had an album, I'm going to butcher the name of the album, I should have written it down, that was called Grease Guitars, and it was just a fun, badass name. But go check them out everywhere. You can find them on Instagram, all of those things again. Let me see, I can find it right now. Now, we did our Guitars, Grease, and Shallow Graves is the name of their EP.
Okay.
Fucking badass name. But every week we like to get together and we like to write, record, mix, and master a song in about 3 hours. We've been really putting it to the 3 hours in the last couple of weeks.
Summertime, baby.
Summertime.
Got things to do.
We're built for speed, not for I guess
pleasure.
We're built for pleasure for us and for you, hopefully audibly. But we are built for speed here, so we like to bust out a quick song. We've been writing some dance tunes.
Yeah.
Now, last week we did an all Spanish language song with Spanish influences, Latin influences for Cinco de Mayo.
Right.
The week before that, we did kind of just our version of a straight up dance song. And we've continued with integrating the things that we like to do into what would be a traditional dance song. So, Zach, what was the creative process going into this? Who were you pulling from a lot to create this song? Because it's all over the place.
Black metal.
Yep, black metal dance. We wrote black metal dance music.
There's like I fucking love black metal and death metal and just weird shit like that.
Yeah,
Right.
I can't help myself. I mean, I just think like that a lot.
yeah. Now,
But I want to
Right,
approach this poppy dance song we're trying to write.
yeah.
Like that band Tennis was.
So I was
a
going to
thing.
just bring up Tennis.
It's a husband and wife duo. It's like independent,
Dancey,
pop-ish, funk.
jazz,
Yeah, it's all
like
over
that,
the place.
and like I don't know if you listened to the Christine and the Queens.
No,
I've
not.
They're good. She sings in French too.
Yeah.
Last album was in French and English.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
So we initially were going to try to write a song every episode for the dance things that was going to be based on something that we watched on Netflix that Justin and I would pick out and watch during the afternoon.
What's up,
and
Jeff?
then we were going to try to write it in that language because last week Spanish just went really. I mean, my 8th, 9th grade Spanish reading level went through like it really held up. I got to give props to all of my Spanish teachers for all of my life. For 20 years later,
you said
I'm still
minus
remembering.
one basic word.
Yeah. I mispronounced one word last week, which I'm very happy. I played it for my roommate's girlfriend. I was just like, hey, so listen to this. You speak Spanish. And she went, yeah, besides that one word that you repeat 40 times, I have no idea what you're saying. Everything else was pronounced wonderfully. So we were going to try to write a song today that was going to be in Cantonese.
Well, because
I
the
threw
inside
that out
joke.
immediately.
You threw that out as a joke to
Because
me.
we were sitting upstairs and he was messing around with the Yamaha.
Yeah, you
And
messaged me a
he
video
found
going,
some,
Kyle,
like-
get ready to learn Chinese.
Well, I found this sound that sounded like I don't know what it's called. You know
Sort of
that
like
that
the old
what's that big-
sitar-ish.
Gong?
no, it's got the strings on this side and this side.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, Chinese sitar.
Yeah,
Sure.
I don't know. I don't remember.
We watched
what
plenty of
it's
shows
called.
that had them using them as magical powers or
But
something.
Yes,
like,
we did.
I got that cool tone with that.
The lapalute. We'll call it the lapalute. I don't know what it's called. Yeah.
But we didn't end up doing that because
We didn't.
I immediately was like, "There's no way we're gonna try and write a song in Chinese with Asian instrumentation that's not going to come off
offensive
all
across the
or
board.
just
Yeah.
like we're just going to look like.
But knowing
cool.
this, at first knowing that you threw it out there and not knowing the rest of it, I was kind of like, all right. So I immediately started researching shows on Netflix that were in either Cantonese or Mandarin, and I found a bunch of them. And then Justin and I spent this afternoon watching almost all of them.
We sure did.
And
Oh
I am
my
going to
goodness,
preface this by saying I know how this is going to sound, but all of those shows are identical. They are exactly the same. There's a guy in all white with elven hair flying through the air. Like, it's all the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon cinematography stolen. And it's basically
the wire fighting.
The wire fighting. It's
all of it.
So much of it.
But it's like
so
over the top, ridiculous.
So
some of them had really good effects. Some of them had like really terrible effects.
Yeah.
Some were funny. Some were serious.
But they all dealt really deeply in like the lore of Chinese culture, which I was trying to get at. I was trying to pull at somehow.
But how do you know it's an ancient Shaolin master if he doesn't have the long hair and the
That's true.
mustache?
Well, the funny thing is, everybody was called Master in these shows.
Yeah, every single
person.
The donkey in one episode was called Little Master, and I'm like, what are we watching? And there were basically two shows we had that we would find. It was either the rom-com teenage comedy, like the Degrassi. I'm not going to say what I called it, but the Degrassi Junior High ripoffs. And we found those, and then we also found the like Crouching Tiger ripoffs, and they were entertaining visually. But the problem is that there's some subtext that we're just not getting,
or some stylized thing. Like, you know how when you watch an anime, everything is like, oh, I burned this toast, and it goes into like this really fucking crazy reaction of like somebody screaming and being over the top. Yeah. Every single scene in this shit was
they
like
were integrating
over the top
anime reactions into a live action thing, and you couldn't tell like if characters were being serious. Like, you can't get not knowing the language, the tone, and Mandarin and Cantonese are very tonal languages. You could say one vowel 3 or 4 different ways and have it mean different things, which is another reason why there was no way in hell I was going to attempt at singing in one of these languages and then find out that I was just saying like, go fuck your mother to everybody.
Charlie and myself tried to learn written Cantonese for a while because we would play an MMO that was
like actual like traditional.
No, like the translation from English to whatever it was.
The Pinyin, I think it's called.
Yeah, Pinyin. Yeah. And the reason we had to do that is because when we played this game called Lineage 2, it was a very much so big Chinese population.
Okay.
So you would learn and pick up on things, and then you would talk to like, you'd be in guilds with people, and they're like, hey, just so you know, everything that you're typing, nobody knows what the fuck you're saying.
Oh, shit.
And it's like, oh, well, I'm just repeating what somebody was like texting me, and they're like,
yeah,
and
just last week I was able to fake my way through this with Google Translate. I wasn't going to try this again for the pronunciation and everything. So what we wound up writing about, instead of writing about a specific show, the lyrics are all about how I really, really wanted to understand what the fuck these shows were about. And even with subtitles, again, there's some subtext that we weren't getting. Maybe it's something that's just a cultural thing that it's not aimed at us. We are not.
Or it was stylized for the show because for a little while, like the show that we watched was called The Untamed.
Yes.
And it was basically.
And that is the name of the song.
It is also the name of the song. But the show was weird because it was like almost like an outcasted member of this one clan got taken over by some demon or spirit.
Dead guy that might be his dad.
But the weird thing about the whole thing, and the thing I couldn't grasp my head around was, the clan was like had this dude locked up. He couldn't leave his spot.
Yeah.
But as soon as he got taken over,
he was able to just do whatever they wanted.
Do whatever, and everybody's like asking him questions and like revering him as like this hero. And I'm just like, what the fuck happened? Like, where is? Like, I couldn't continue watching.
Yeah,
like,
no,
there was just too much shit.
Really difficult, and I would love to. Some of them that we read or that we were watching are based on books. I would love to find out more of the synopsis and maybe be able to go back with. You know, it'd be like watching Lord of the Rings and you have no idea about it. It's going to be hard the first couple times to get what they're referencing, get what they're talking, and especially if you're watching it in a different language and reading subtitles. So we shied away.
I will say the dude's a flute
using,
master.
He is a flute master.
He was playing a Leaf of Grass. playing the flute. And
Literally,
bamboo.
there's a scene where he's holding a piece of grass, and very terribly, the actor is just doing like this mime, and it is playing this beautiful flute song, like
Yeah, Untamed.
and he's just doing this.
Curious? Check it out.
Go check it out. So either way, we wrote the song in homage to that because I really wish I could understand what the hell they were really talking about. I could read the words, but even having the written words did not help us.
Always.
So what time did we come in at on our non-Cantonese influence? 4:50. So just
4:49. Yeah.
just under 5 minutes, which is a good dance song that keeps you on the floor with your gal or guy longer than most other songs. So why don't we jump right into it? Again, this is The Untamed, our Brunch Weekly Original Single. We'll see you guys in just about 5 minutes, where we will be talking with EgoViking.
Oh yeah.
Enjoy the song.
I can't begin to, I can't pretend to follow your words, even with them written for me. Don't understand, don't understand, I don't understand, I don't understand. I can't soon be sure that I really got this town, really got this town, really got this town, really got this town. This town. I wish I could say I know what you're saying. I wish I could say I see the game you're playing. I wish I could say I know what you're saying. I wish I could say I see the game you're playing. I won't pretend to, I won't begin to. I say I see what you do with me. Don't understand, don't understand, I don't understand, I don't understand. I didn't choose to, I didn't refuse to. Really got this town, really got this town, really got this town, really got this town. This town. I wish I could say I know what you're
into it. All right. Cool.
All righty.
Sorry, guys. I don't know why that one video is not working.
Technical
We're having some
difficulties
issues
over
right today.
here. Either way, that was our Brunch Weekly Original Single. Again, that is titled "The Untamed." That'll be released on YouTube over the next couple of days. So keep an eye out and an ear out for that. But now we are joined by our special guest via Discord, EgoViking. How are you doing, brother?
Special? I like that. I'm great. I'm fantastic.
Wonderful.
Just living the dream over here.
Yeah.
How you guys doing? Well, I know how you're doing because
you've been
for the
hearing
last
us
hour.
bullshit for like an hour already.
Yeah.
Now, so you said before you're down in the Carolinas, you're down in South Carolina. Before we get into jumping about or talking about everything that you do with streaming and your life in general, how has it been in South Carolina with the COVID situation? Are people starting to get antsy and start breaking protocol? Is your state still on lockdown? Are you one of the early states? What's going on in your world over there?
We were one of the late states to even close.
Okay.
And when they closed, it was more like maybe you should stay home.
Okay.
And then they finally closed. And then as soon as Georgia opened up, which is the neighboring state, they were like, oh, you can open up.
Yeah.
So I think hair salons are opening on like Monday.
Ooh,
For me, the ultimate was when they opened the gyms.
Okay.
Because if you open the gym, not that, like, look at me, I don't go to the gym, but
That's the one with the G, right? G.
yes. But you would think, wouldn't you think that the gym is the worst place?
Yeah, you sweat there.
You sweat. You're
Everyone touches
spitting.
everything. People are breathing heavily.
Yeah.
I mean, that's no.
Nobody's working out with a mask on either. Like no guy in there with the Radio Shack level fucking.
There's semen everywhere.
There is so many,
It's just-
so many Siemens.
Yeah.
I mean, they're closing the beaches, which makes no sense, right? I stay away from people on the beach. I'm not all up on random strangers on the beach, but what am I going to do at the gym? If I go touch some weights, somebody's touched them before me. If I'm on the beach, hopefully nobody's touched that sand before me,
Yeah, and if
real.
so, hopefully sand doesn't hold the coronavirus for
like-
that long.
Let's hope.
I mean, who knows?
But yeah,
It's
supposedly
pagan,
by Monday, hair salons, which they figured in South Carolina was the biggest thing, they're going to open back up.
I was
And
saying,
I don't know.
everybody everywhere all gung-ho on the whole I need a haircut thing. Like all the protests that are happening up in Pennsylvania, that seems to be the spotlight. A bunch of people with like, I haven't had my hair cut in 2 months. Oh my God, really? Oh no, 2 months. Zach hasn't had his hair cut in 2 decades, I don't think. Like he's literally just not, like
It
you'll
seems
be
like-
okay. We don't have a
It
lights
seems like
out
that,
break.
right? The haircut.
Yeah.
And then, did you see the people in Florida the other day that were protesting that the gyms were closed by doing push-ups and sit-ups on the side of the road?
That's how you protest.
That's how you prove that you don't need the gym
Yeah,
to
you
open
go-
because
exactly.
it worked out outside.
I
Just
did
keep that
push-ups
shit
on a
closed.
bench.
It's free.
What
Yeah.
a bunch of idiots those guys were.
Oh God.
Well, I mean, I do know that if these places are going to open, they're going to be hit with heavy regulations and shit like that. So a lot of places aren't going to actually be able to find the products to open
Yeah.
and safely take care of things. So people that are really pushing for this shit to happen are putting a lot of pressure on business owners to be like, well, look, I'm going to have to buy all this extra shit. I'm going to have to charge you more. You know what I mean? Like,
And then people will bitch about that
Yes,
for sure.
exactly.
Oh God, yeah.
You'll be mad about that. My biggest concern, I'm 6'5", and my
geez.
family is in Sweden. My biggest concern is what they're going to do to air travel.
yeah.
Now, how often do you get back to Sweden? Is it a frequent thing, like once every year, every couple of years?
Every 2-3 years or so.
Okay.
It really depends, right? Before I did what I do now with streaming,
Right.
I worked in corporate and with corporate jobs. And the shitty thing in the U.S. is that you can work hard and make lots of money, but you can't get any time off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right? While in Sweden,
You can
get
pop out a
limited with the
baby and
money.
get a year off, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's mandated by law that you have to have 34 days of vacation.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Why
the
did my
US,
family move out of Sweden?
the US is a fucking grind horse till you're dead.
Yep, that is definitely true. All right, well, that's a good segue into to you as a human being, Ego. You are from Sweden. How long have you been living in the United States?
I've been in the U.S. since 2001, or whatever that is, 19
Pre or
years.
post 9/11? Were you
Well,
here?
I actually lived here when that happened. Well, I was here when it happened, kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did that not deter you from moving here, or were you were already set on moving here? Then, because that seems like if I went to France right when like the bombings in France happened, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna move here. Then that happened to be like, no, I'm gonna go back to the woods, man. Going back. So that didn't deter you, freak you out at all?
No. So I'm former military, and so I know that crap happens all over the place, right? Sure. It's
luck of the draw if you're there when and where.
I mean,
it happens.
it might happen,
Can't live
anywhere. I drive a lot. I drive a car. I ride a motorcycle. I mean, when it comes for you, it comes for you. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you moved here a little under 20 years ago, and when you first moved here, what was the trajectory for you? Were you just moving here for a change of pace? Was it for work, or was it?
No, I met a girl. I met a girl.
Haha, very nice.
that story. No, I met a girl. I came here. It didn't work out. 10 years, and it didn't work out. Which I think was a good run in today's day and age.
10 years? Are you kidding
10
me?
10 years, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get 10 days.
I get 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Zach is king of the world over there. He's at least king of Staten Island at that point. 10 seconds. So you moved for a girl, and then what were, aside from the allure of a female bringing you here, what were you looking forward to the most moving from Sweden? Which, if you listen to any Democratic debate, it's like a country that gets thrown out all the time as like, we could be doing what Sweden does and all this stuff. What was the allure of the United States aside from vagine?
Well, the crazy thing is, right, that when you are younger, you always want to get away from whatever you're at. It could be the best fucking thing in the world.
Yeah.
Sure,
and you're still going to be like, I got to go somewhere else because this is never going to change.
Right,
Yeah.
Right.
And then you go somewhere else, and then you live there for 20 years, and then you're like, you know what? Yeah, I kind of miss the old place,
Exactly.
So it wasn't really, I mean, I noticed that at least in the U.S., like I said earlier, right, the U.S. is one of those places where if you work hard, most of the time you can make some sort of level out of what you want to do.
Sure.
Right?
And that
you
way
may not
it is
end
the
up
land of
Bezos,
opportunity, as they say. Yeah.
But in Sweden, it's a lot of like, the government takes care of you, but that comes on the back of taxes.
Sure.
So, of course, when you are younger, you're like, well, I don't need that. I don't need that help from the government. That's fine. I can take care of myself, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a draw. And you'll see it's interesting, too. It's changed now because the world has gotten so much smaller with the internet and stuff. But back then, 20 years ago, people in Sweden either loved the U.S. or hated the U.S. There was no, like, in between, like, I don't care. Like, they either loved it and just wanted to move here, or they hated it
because they saw they saw fucking different strokes, and they were like, I could have that life. I could be a rich white guy with
I do have
two children.
One question for you.
Am I bored?
Talking about the military, because this is a big thing in other countries like Ecuador. I know it's a thing. Did you go into the military willingly, or was it something that in Sweden you hit an age and everybody goes through through a military program?
So it used to be in Sweden that it was mandatory.
Okay.
And you had to do 8 months of learning to essentially just be a soldier, right?
Gotcha. Just in case anything shit happens, you're trained.
Yeah, it's like the home defense, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Then Sweden went through years of, like any other country, except for the U.S., I guess, of cutting back the defense budget.
Okay.
Cutting back because the other stuff that needs to money.
Like reducing, like not spending as much on defense.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. Never heard of that.
It's wild, right?
What are you talking about?
And Sweden kept on cutting back. So, like, when my dad went through, who is 23 years older than me, everyone had to go when he went through.
Sure.
And they had to come back every 2 years to train again.
Okay.
And then
training.
when I went through, they only took about 30% of the people that went through like the training, right?
Okay.
And so I went through, and then I got selected for officer candidate school.
Okay.
So I actually went much longer and stayed on as an officer.
I mean, it makes sense if you have a. I mean, my aunt went through the Navy for 28 years. She was a Navy nurse in Norfolk. You know what I mean? So like, she got something that worked for her and was good.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So why not continue it? You know.
But then what Sweden did, like, I guess, I mean, it's been a while now.
Yeah.
But they were like, you know what, this is too much to have all these people come in and train, and then, you know, because like the unit I'm assigned to, being part of the old system,
Right.
the unit I'm assigned to is a mobilization unit. I'm still assigned to it, and if a war breaks out, we could mobilize.
Wait, like currently today, as having a dual citizenship, you could get called to go, like, get your 6'5" giant Viking ass back over there, and they need
I mean,
you
they
on the
could
front
call
line.
me. I could refuse because I'm out of the country, but they could technically call me. But the goofy thing is, the mobilization time of my particular unit, which is infantry, so, you know, fighting, is 10 years.
Jesus.
What?
So it would take 10 years from the day they said that we were mobilizing until we were supposed to be ready.
All right. When has that ever been a bad time frame?
Yeah. So I mean, if the Russians are attacking, you know, in 10 years, I can be
You're
over
set,
there.
dude.
Yeah,
you are
guys
set.
are good.
Right.
They can't get that far in 10 years.
No.
That's like a couple hundred miles. You're fine. You're fine. They've never
So that's why they went to not private. What's it called? Professional military.
Okay.
Okay.
But not enough people signed up because it's not in the culture to sign up for the military. Never been in Sweden, right? Because old Sweden was a warring nation, but those people didn't sign up. You know, there was like the village had to send one soldier, or, you know, that sort of thing.
Sure.
So they didn't have enough people. And then, of course, Putin started doing things and, you know, messing around in the Ukraine and whatnot. And Sweden got scared, and now they're back to conscription again.
Okay.
But they only take in like 2% of the eligible people or something like that.
Now, how long were you then in the military? Because in the United States, I believe, for the most part, if you sign up, it's 4 years that you are in. When you enlist, you get 4 years, and then you have your option to keep going after that. How long, when you entered, were you mandated after you went to the officer style? Like, did they give you a certain time frame, or was it kind of like you can do this until you don't want to do this anymore?
No, so I went through officer candidate school, which is 3 years.
Okay.
Right? And then once you're done with that, you have to make a decision. If you want to continue a career path in the military, you actually have to go back to school, and then you have to go to school for another, like a university type education.
Okay.
For another 2 years to be trained in all the other extra things that comes with, like, you know, bringing the military forward.
Right.
So it's not just a bunch of meathead military, it's an intellectually still like based idea.
Makes sense.
Yep.
That's pretty,
so I was right there in that break. I was either going to, I had 3 paths I was going to go, and I had applications and were interviewing with all 3 as I was coming out of the military. And it was the military itself to stay on that career track.
Right.
Go back to school for that. Join the Swedish National Police Force, which is a 4-year education, college education or university education.
And what is that? They can put you anywhere within the country?
Yeah, there's no local police. There's not like, you know, Podunk PD and so county sheriff. It's one police department that covers the country.
Gotcha.
And then the third one that I had and also was talking to were what Sweden consider, they call it the security police. It is essentially every, you know, it's the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, all of those in one branch.
That would be the one I would want to go into. The intelligence.
But that's what I had lined up, and then I met a girl, and now I'm here.
Hell yeah. So then, okay, so you're here, you're in America. Were you from a young age a gamer? Were you somebody that was like early on invested in video games, and what was the culture of video games like growing up in Sweden versus what you've learned about it being here in America? Was it pretty, we had Atari, you got Atari, we had Nintendo, you got Nintendo, or were you guys, because a lot of movies you'll see something happen in like generally more Eastern European, like Czechoslovakia, something like that, where they go somewhere and the guy's 15 years behind. It's 2002, and he's like, "Yeah, Prince, man," and you're just like, "Yeah, it's 2010," and he's like, "LL Cool J, man," and you're like, "Yeah, totally. You guys got this late." Were you more on top of that culture-wise for Sweden with video games?
Before you answer, let me preface by saying that I am within the same age as Ego, and growing up in America,
plenty of years ahead of you. Don't worry.
Growing up in America and seeing how the evolution of video games has changed, even the Twitch. Zach can tell you he knew the Justin.tv or met them, was in a music video forum. Back in the day, I mean, I remember when Justin TV came out. I remember when it switched over to Twitch.
And those that don't know, Justin TV is what became Twitch. Yeah.
Yes, and also, I mean, playing esports before esports was even a thing with Charlie, and really pushing that, and growing up where people would play in arcades and fucking that was the tournament. That was how they made money. Sometimes.
Yeah, you last Starfightered it until you got to space.
So, you know, watching this whole thing shift in Twitch. Or shift and turn into Twitch and how big it's become is mind-blowing. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to preface that before you go into actually answer your question.
Yeah, so what was it like in Sweden with video games? Were you guys pretty on top of it, or was it a couple of years behind? What were you guys, and what were you into as a younger guy?
It's actually interesting because I actually thought about this early today before we had spoken about what we're going to talk about tonight. And video games in itself, it was... You know, Sweden was up to date with it. Sweden is a country that has, because of population, not been able to maintain heavy industry. Came out of World War II, you know, unscathed because reasons, and maintained heavy industry. Right. But with the population of 9 million people, with such a big country that Sweden is, you just can't, you know, it's just there's too few people to maintain very heavy industry. So Sweden quickly switched to know-how, right? Highly educated, and then try to bring that technology, all that stuff in.
Sure.
So video games, all that stuff was there, right? There's a ton of that stuff. But interestingly enough, when I was younger, and I just remember this today, I had a Commodore 64.
We were talking about this when we were playing, because we're playing through with Charlie at Generation Z, and they have... I forget what they call it, but it's a Commodore 64, and we had talked about this on the on the actual episode.
But I had the 64. I knew all the things about it. My dad even sent me, I think I must have been 12 years old, and I think my dad sent me to like one of those, it wasn't really like it was a class that they put on for people that were just getting into computers, but they might have been people that like in their 30s, 40s, 50s, right? And I'm 12. And they're teaching about basic programming and stuff like that.
Sure.
So I remember I was very much into the computers, but then I had that computer and I had a stack of cassette tapes, right, that had the games on them, you know, the old school. Right. And I remember in the summers, especially in the summers, I would rent out my computer and all the games to the neighborhood kids.
Really?
Oh, so you were one of very
So you were making money off of this.
Oh yeah, so that was you know, it's summertime. I'm not going to video, you know. Yeah. I actually played very few games or little gaming growing up in Sweden. My gaming really more so started coming to the U.S.
Okay. So what games did you get into when you got here? Because again, early 2000s. I know
PlayStation.
PlayStation 2 in 2001.
2001. Yeah, 2000. Yeah, PlayStation 2 would have been out at that point.
So were you an Xbox guy, PlayStation guy? What were you playing?
So before I left Sweden, the games, I had a PlayStation. I don't know why I ended up getting one because I didn't play a ton of it, but I had one. It's like one of those, like I had moved out or something and I wanted to be independent, so I bought a PlayStation.
Yeah.
Wasted money on that for some reason.
Right.
And I played Need for Speed.
Okay.
Oh my God, I had that on PC, Need for Speed. I'm not a gamer, and anybody that's listening to this knows I'm not a gamer. I have to run most of my questions about games.
Sid Meier's Pirates. Anytime it came out, anything I could find it on, I played it on. But what was it that Team Fortress, I believe, was the first thing, because
the original Team Fortress.
Yeah, the original, because the internet, right? The internet came late to anyone else but the U.S. for obvious reasons.
Sure.
So, I'm coming out from Sweden where, I had to dial up to get into the internet.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of times. And then I'm coming to the U.S. and here's the internet coming through the cable.
Right.
It wasn't fast, but it's a hell of a lot faster than, dial up.
Uh-huh.
So there was a lot of like the Team Fortress, that sort of thing. That's what we played a lot.
So you were more on the competitive PC gaming side of stuff when you got into it. I mean, maybe not competitive.
That's what I got into because it was fun, right?
Exactly.
I was new in the U.S. and I was meeting new people, friends and stuff, and they played. So that was the way to get into it.
Sure.
But then I don't know. For some reason, I got back to the old games that I'd always enjoyed, which was all the builders and the management games. Probably I should have known that trying to rent my computer out to the kids back in my, when I was a kid. But that's how I got into it, and then it's just grown, and I have found myself more and more over the years less and less interested in TV and in the slow watching type TV shows or sitcoms and that kind of stuff, and more and more just the computer and playing games and whatnot, because you can create. I think it's more you can create your own narrative.
Sure.
You're not forced some way where some storyline that it's going to upset you. Game of Thrones.
I think the other big thing about playing games online and especially now, like when we would play games, even having a team of 5 for Counter-Strike, like you would bond with those people just like you would a band. Like we were spending so much time practicing fucking flashbangs over a wall for literally hours at a time, making sure that we all had it down. And like you build this community and you build this friendship with people that you don't necessarily have to interact with in person, but they are some of the closest people you will know. You know what I mean? The internet does allow that, and having communities and playing video games is better with a community.
That's one of the crazy things now, right? So one of the reasons why I did not move back to Sweden, well, the reason I didn't move back originally, was because I have kids, right? Okay. So even though it didn't work out, I still have children. I'm not going to leave. And now they're teenagers and obnoxious as they should be. But they're also locked up at home, right? They're locked up home in the pandemic.
Sure.
And they live with their mom, and I was talking to their mom. They're coming here next week. Cool. And she's like, oh, I'm going to send them, I'll send the Switch down with them and stuff, because the youngest, she's really into Animal Crossing.
Right. Great game,
so I talked to her about it. I'm like, hey, how's Animal Crossing going? And she's like, oh, it's fantastic, because she plays it with all her friends from school.
Sure.
Right? So
it's now a way to connect still to people that you used to sit in a room with. So the opposite of like what Justin's saying, even for kids nowadays,
sure.
It used to be I might have never met these people, or I might not be able to see these people all the time, but we can play online. And now it's like, well, I can't hang out with my friends.
Yep.
But you can.
So I can, yeah. I used to mock all my friends back in the day for Jameso and our buddy Mikey. They would be like, oh yeah, we're hanging out, we're gonna play video games tonight. And I'd be like, all right, where at? And they'd be like, at our houses. And I'd be like, wait, whose house? And they'd be like, no, at each of our houses. And I'd be like, you're doing what? So then eventually there was like a couple of nights where like our buddies like James Mikey, a couple other people would get together and they would play I think Time Splitters with the weird fucking characters in it. Like there's like a talking there's a talking cactus, I think. Eli something. I don't know.
They had all kinds of shit.
Yeah, there was some weird characters in that. But then I got into, and this is my kind of first introduction to what streaming would be. I got really into watching my friends play video games because I didn't play, and I'm like, oh, but I can follow the story, and you, like you're saying, you're mandating the story on some of these games, so it's more enjoyable. But yeah, so that's cool. The kids today, it's a way for them to stay connected, but for people 20 years ago, it was a way to actually get connected initially.
Yep.
So when you first came here and you were getting acclimated to our customs, our country, everything like that, adjusting, and then you're playing video games. How long into that did it get you to be introduced to the actual idea of streaming video games? Maybe not necessarily being the streamer, but the first time, do you remember, was it Twitch or Justin TV, something along those lines? Was it that got you into the enjoyment of streaming, or did you just jump right into playing as a streamer?
No, it was actually so I was playing games online with a group called Team Ego. That's where my the ego in my nickname comes from, or my online name. And we were playing a couple of different games, and I was talking to one of the guys one day. I don't remember how long ago this was. And he said, "Oh, there's a game about driving trucks, just like semi trucks, and it was Euro Truck Simulator 2."
Right.
And he said, "Oh yeah, because they just had come out with like a Viking pack, or a Nordic pack or something, where it was like Viking themes and stuff to paint their trucks." And I thought to myself, I'm like, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard. you drive trucks, like you do a job on the computer. So I'm like, well, where like now I have to see it, right? Because this sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I said, well, all right. So I looked. That's why I found Twitch. I didn't have an account or anything, and I watched some people drive trucks, and I was like, this game is stupid. But watching these guys play the game and the enjoyment they had in playing the game.
Yeah, it's a vicarious thing. Yeah, you're feeding off their energy. Yeah.
It was great. Just, like it was chill. They were hanging out. They were driving some trucks. And that was like my weird in to Twitch.
Did you ever think back in Sweden that one day you'd be driving trucks with Nordic themes all over it? Did that ever cross your mind? Did you ever think I'm gonna have culturally inappropriate horns on the side of it? Because everybody's got horns in Scandinavia. You're born with a set of horns on the side, right?
And a giant shield they handed to you.
Yeah. A big beard
on the side of the crib, it's just ready to go.
Exactly, it's all there, ready to go.
No, that was. I mean, it was one of those. Even when I watched the streams, I was like, this is. I didn't know what I thought about it, and I had always felt that I had been kind of understanding of what's going on when the internet was growing and stuff like that. I remember a long time ago, like, before leaving Sweden, the internet was very new in Sweden, and the milk carton in Sweden, the cartons, Tetra Paks, had a website for the milk company, or the the big company.
Oh.
And I remember saying to my dad, even though it was like impossible to get to their website and stuff unless you went to the school or something, I said, at some point in time, everyone is going to have one of these, because it's so much easier to get the information, and go to their website. So I always felt that I was kind of in tune with what was going on as the technology of the internet and all that was growing, right?
Sure.
And then here came Twitch, and I was like, "This is the dumbest shit ever."
Well, the funny thing about Twitch is like, because I'm so embedded into video games, and like to me, it's like second nature. So when I see somebody playing video game, I'm like, "Oh, cool," and then I'll go to work and be like, "Oh yeah, I was watching somebody at Twitch," and people are like, "What the fuck is that? Like, what are you on? Like, what?" And I'm like, and then I'm like, "Oh shit, okay, so you don't know."
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try and explain this to you, because you're gonna look at me and be like, "That's fucking stupid."
So you sit around and you watch. It's every stand-up comedian from 8 years ago is like, so my kid is watching other people play video games. What's the deal with that?
Until you really sit down and find a community, or even somebody that just personality-wise that you enjoy tuning in, it's just like people sitting here, which thank you guys for being here, watching us talk about whatever stupid bullshit we're talking about.
We'd be doing it either way.
Exactly.
Because we're crazy.
Exactly. But yeah, the internet's a very weird thing, and trying to explain.
Assholes. Really, a bunch of fucking.
To explain to people that video games and community. But with the quarantine and everything that's going down, it's made things and transition things a little bit easier for some people. Like parents are starting to get a better understanding of what is going down.
Oh, I think parents are just happy their kids are distracted.
Well, that too.
They're just
That
like,
too.
whatever. He's been in his room for 12 days. He hasn't touched anything. I think he's still alive.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
We
I
keep
watch
pushing food
my
under the
kid
door.
on Twitch once a day to make sure he's still breathing.
We walk into the room in the morning and it smells like old cum.
Yeah.
And there's
And
a body
new cum.
in the,
It smells
and,
like
there's
old
a body
and
in
new
the
cum.
bed. So
We're
we
good.
assume our 14-year-old
As long
is
as
still
that
alive.
new cum smell is still in there, your kid's fine. You're good.
God.
We need an air sensor, you know? You just put it in the wall. And it goes, yeah, somebody
That's
jacked
semen,
off
yep,
in here in the last 5 hours.
He's
So
You're
the
alive.
real
good.
question here, Ego, is did you ever think when you were in Sweden that you'd be on a stupid talk show with two
bunch
guys
of-
talking about cum?
Asshole.
Yeah. Did you ever think one day some fat fucking Americans are going to be talking about 14-year-old cum with me on a talk show? Did that ever happen?
Oh,
Did
God.
you ever think about that? Because that's what just happened there.
That's what just happened.
That just
Dreams
happened.
do come true.
They do. Weird
It's an
dreams.
American dream, dude.
It's the American. That's
Dude,
what-
I hope not, because I've been having some fucking weird dreams.
Are they
lately.
American dreams? I mean, you're an American, so I guess they have to be American
Yeah,
dreams.
like, you don't. It's fucked up. All the porno, all the incest porno
Yeah,
gives
it's
you
some
weird
fucking-
dreams.
Yeah, it
dude.
does.
You
It
have
does.
a
You're like,
dream.
I don't even have a sister.
Yeah, it was like, oh man, I just had the craziest dream. I was fucking my sister. It's horrible.
I felt so naughty, and I woke up and realized she doesn't
I
exist.
don't have a sister.
We're good. It's the brother dreams I gotta watch out for. Those are the worst ones. So when you decided then, Ego, to get into streaming on your own, after you got over the whole ridiculousness, because I think that has to be, for especially somebody in
But I mean,
our
that's like
age,
any
age
business,
group and
though.
up, it's going to look really weird and really dumb. And yeah, like
It's
any
any business. Like if you're like, fuck, I want to bake these cupcakes, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
You're always gonna have like some sort of doubt. And am I being stupid? You know what I mean? Like,
And especially when it's technology related, am
Yes.
I getting on something that is? Am I getting on the laser disc of technology right now? Is this going to be obsolete in a year or something like that? So you got over all that. What was the thing that got you to first, even just as like a novice, first start streaming? What game were you first streaming on Twitch?
It's a lot of it's actually Charlie's fault.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, let's continue
go.
the hating on Charlie.
the person that made me believe that Twitch was viable is Jeff Bezos. Believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
enough.
Because I worked at Amazon, right? I was
Yes.
in an Amazon fulfillment center, packing fucking boxes. Well, I was supervising people packing boxes, which is even worse. And
Zach
Amazon
hates
bought
Jeff Bezos,
Twitch.
by the way, just so you know. But
Zach refuses to touch anything Amazon
I mean,
related.
that's why I'm not on Twitch, because
That's why he doesn't want us to do a stream on Twitch. He's so against Bezos.
I mean, he's an
He
evil
owns half the
genius,
world
so-
now, doesn't he?
Yes. He
yeah,
does, he
I
does.
mean,
But when
I've never given that son of a bitch any of my money. And I won't start now. He won't make a fucking penny from me. A bastard.
he's really hurting on that too.
So as you were saying,
No, but when Amazon put that much money out there to buy Twitch, and you should have seen the senior leadership at our fulfillment center when that message came in, and we're sitting down in one of those meetings with all the leaders, and the director of the facilities trying to explain to all us, logistics managers and supervisors and stuff, like, we just spent all these millions and millions to buy like a video game website. And that's when I was like, yeah, it's viable, because
sure, it has backing.
it
not
has
just-
Amazon
it's just not
behind
a
it
bunch of
now.
small
And
Yeah,
Amazon-
Lex Luthor is not going to do something that's not profitable.
Yeah, Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
absolutely,
about
right?
real estate usually.
It's about money. That's what the
Exactly.
man is about.
He's all about
so.
real estate. That's
I
generally
see
all
what
of
you're
Lex
saying
Luthor's
there.
plans are real estate, and this is virtual real estate.
Yep.
And he was staking a claim.
Free real
It,
estate.
it was. So when so you started getting into it through the knowledge and kind of, I mean, I don't want to say
Yeah,
insider
so I got
information,
into it, like, and actually, like, so I watched it a little bit more and that sort of thing, and then I ended up in the Grand Theft Auto role play community.
but- Okay.
I've seen
And that's
some of
where I
that.
actually ran into Charlie.
Right.
So we talked about it. It was kind of fun. Like, we threw on some streams. You know, we would stream kind of some stuff we did. We were a motorcycle club, so it was kind of a different thing for people to watch.
Charlie disguising himself as a hot ass chick to get you to talk to him? Is that what was happening? Did he have tits out to here?
No, he was a drunk, angry biker.
What?
Oh,
You're supposed to do something different with your life.
No, he was just himself, less motorcycle.
Yes, less motorcycle.
That was it.
Yes.
But yeah, so we streamed a little bit. Had a couple of streams and whatnot, and then just like he put in chat here a little bit ago, or like he kept saying you should stream more, should go full time, blah blah blah, and then
right.
Before we knew it, it was just the situation was fine. I had just left the company I worked at because it wasn't a good spot to work, and I was like, you know what, I'll try it out.
Why not?
I might as well. I enjoyed the broadcasting of it.
Sure.
I enjoy video games for the sake of video games. Yeah. And if some people can come and hang out and enjoy it, that's fantastic. And now we're pushing 2 years.
Well, I mean, I met you through Charlie, and we've done work for you. Like we wrote your theme song.
Yep.
I mean, and we've done numerous different things between video editing and just all kinds of different stuff. We're working on stuff for YouTube right now, and there's just a whole bunch of different things going on. I mean, and that's the cool thing about it. You build a community, and even when me and Charlie when we lived together, that's what we were trying to do. We were trying to build communities within, gaming. Because there's a lot of cool and talented people out there, and a lot of them are introverts and don't like to go out, and they enjoy video games. And hanging out and doing that, and you just meet a lot of nice and good people.
Yeah, and we never looked at saying this is our demographic.
Right.
But I think we just, by the way that we talk and curse like sailors and drink and whatever the hell we do, we kind of ended up appealing to people that are older than the normal group that comes to Twitch, right?
Yeah,
the 18 to 24-year-old, they will come. They'll show up too, but we're really more fun for the people that because nowadays gamers are in their 50s. They're gamers that are 50 years old, right?
Sure, very much so.
That's 100%.
The young kids are going for the Ninja. Well, not anymore. He's on Mixer, and Shroud, who is also on Mixer. But they're going for the dudes.
So young kids are jumping off Twitch and onto Mixer.
No, not really.
Twitch is for the old people.
No,
these
Twitch
days.
Twitch is very much so the king as far as that goes, and we've talked about that with Charlie. But the young kids are going for
the Budweiser
for the Fortnite streamers or the Call of Duty streamers, and not all of them, but a lot of them are.
My favorite Twitch guy is the accordion guy. Have you seen him?
He's a renowned Russian accordionist, I think, or something.
I don't know. There's a dude who plays accordion.
Yeah,
on
he's
Twitch.
really, really fucking good.
He used to have 2 channels.
Really?
Yeah. He has one channel where he's actually live, from time to time.
Okay.
And then he had one channel where the channel was live, but he would play his old videos just over and over.
I think that's what we would catch all the time.
I would catch him.
Well,
Charlie, but he's so good.
Charlie's saying in chat right now, just to keep us updated, that the biggest demographic in gaming is 26 to 25. I mean 26 to 35 is what he said.
Yes.
26 to 35.
Well, no, that's not Justin.
Yeah. Sorry. And
the second's 36
to 44.
Yeah.
So, it does make sense that the...
That's also the people that have the money to put out.
Oh, yeah. Exactly what I was going to get to. The people that...
Gaming ain't cheap.
When you grow up liking something and then you get a job and then you have money, you invest that money in things you like. That's the whole idea of people saying that there's a midlife crisis going on. It's not a midlife crisis. It's, hey, man, I'm finally fucking 35, 45 years old. I have money. I want that Mazda Miata. Yeah. I want that fucking thing that I couldn't have when I was 18 years old.
I want to support this person doing something.
And now that Twitch is a thing, you want to hang out with people that are like-minded. You want to hang out and watch things that you're interested in. And even knowing that Twitch has... Justin was the person that introduced me to all of this.
Our first show was on Twitch.
Yeah, and then
the first show for this was on Twitch.
Yep, the first one that we ever did before we did the reboot of our show. Yes, was on Twitch, and we I I want to say I was skeptical because I was like, oh, it's a video game platform, and then you introduced me to just chatting.
It was just chatting. There's music. It's creative.
And
There's anything
the
that you want to
titties.
do.
The titties.
The titties are a big thing on Twitch.
Well, this is another thing I've thought of, and what I want to ask of you, Ego, with building an audience and everything like that. I do, obviously sex sells. If you are an attractive lady or an attractive man that you can show off some skin or something like that, you might get a little bit more of a viewership because you're showing off some cleavage, or if you're a dude, you're showing off some neck,
sure,
or your dick or whatever. What were the ways that you found helped you build? Was it just being yourself and then letting people naturally come to you, or did you find different ways to? Yeah, did you have naturally people coming?
Well,
to you?
so. And this is actually an interesting thing because we've been going around this, several times and looking at this, and a lot of it, Charlie through his capacity, what he does for a living,
sure,
and we've looked an attractive female.
Okay,
you're gonna attract people that are looking for an attractive female, and if you are looking for a fat dude with a beard, they might show up where I'm at.
Yeah,
but I think what we have done, I say we because there's a whole crew behind the stream that helps out and does stuff, and I think what we did that we are trying to be different with is we're making it a show. Sure, there's a video game there, but it has to be a show. There has to be something else than just somebody sitting in silence playing a video game. And then we played to just instead of following the standards of the rules of this is how you should behave and these are the good vibes that you have to have and blah blah blah, we're like, well, we are kind of that, we're that biker bar where you show up and you have a beer and you get a little loud and rowdy and you have some fun, right? Sure. And you don't feel bad about it because everyone else is doing the same thing, and we limit it so you're not they're not idiots around, but
right.
So that's kind of been our thing, and that spreads on its own. Yeah, and like Charlie said, I blow people. I blow people.
Charlie said exactly. You blow people.
Well, I mean, if you blow people, you get more people like you. I've just heard
is this
that.
Like Demolition Man now?
It is.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys can see. I can see it clearly. He has a giant horn in the background.
Yeah.
Back there somewhere.
Yeah.
And when there you go. There you go. I mean, why? If you want, go ahead. But is that on a subscribe or is that a follow?
That's on subscribe only.
Subscribe. Okay.
So if you sub to the channel, you get blown.
Will you give an example?
Yeah, you guys will get a free blow. Everyone tonight gets a free blow.
I love free blowies.
Yeah, get you hooked on the first one, then you come back, and then it's gonna cost you.
There you go.
Just like meth.
Oh, it cuts out. There we go. Hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
Hell yeah, thank you.
And they come back.
Yeah.
They come back. You don't want to break that streak,
No,
You get one a month, and then all of a sudden,
People want to get blown, man. People
Exactly.
want to
you
get blown.
You hooked.
All right, so to wrap up, what is the easiest way for people to find you on Twitch, social media, everything like that? Where can they find you if they want to follow you and learn more about drunken sailor-like talk? Where can they get you at?
Biker bar.
I mean, if you search on EgoViking, just about anywhere, it's going to show up. Mainly we are on Twitter and Twitch.
Right.
And Charlie yells at me, but we are also on Byte. He can put a link somewhere for that because I don't remember how. But that's what we do. But yeah, EgoViking in all the places.
You also have a website, egoviking.com, correct?
Yeah, egoviking.com as well. Don't go to EcoViking, even though they seem like nice people. EcoViking sells glass baby bottles.
Glass baby
Unless
bottles.
you're looking for some glass baby bottles, then go to EcoViking and then go to EgoViking.
We're going to have a new sponsor next week, and that's going to be EcoViking.com.
Can you imagine
get all of
drinking some
glass
Jaeger out of
bottles.
a glass baby
you
bottle?
go.
It's a perfect sponsorship
I
opportunity.
think it's
it
a good way to do it. I will drink all of my liquor out of a glass baby bottle for the rest of our run of this show if we get sponsored by EgoViking.com.
Now, I do have a question. We've mentioned bikers a few times. Are you a real-life biker as well?
Yeah. I got a 2011 Ultra Limited.
Okay.
So
Sweet.
try to ride as much as I can, but
It gets tough,
It-
dude. Especially as you get older.
the summertime. The nice thing with living in South Carolina is you get 9 months of riding weather,
Yeah.
and then the summer hits, and then you don't leave the house.
The opposite of everywhere further north of the Mason-Dixon line is everyone's like, wait for May. Hope it don't rain.
Hope it
Dude,
doesn't
it's even
snow,
cold
dude.
right
It
now.
snowed
I'm
here
good on the
last
bike
week.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
snowed
was
last week.
hailing yesterday.
Dude, I got hit with hail. We were cleaning up in the yard, and I got hit with hail heavy.
Some crazy shit.
It was not good. All right. Well,
was
Ego, I just wanted to say
65.
thank you again for joining us tonight and being our special guest here. And anybody, again, check him out on Twitch at EgoViking. You can find him, again, as he said, just Ego with a G, EgoViking, unless you got a real pompous fucking baby that needs a glass bottle.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I
yeah.
really appreciate it. I enjoyed it. That was fun. And I'm
yeah.
going
Doing
to
more.
listen to that song that I actually missed. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
gonna have to listen to it. You're gonna dance your ass off. Don't
Yeah, for
worry.
sure.
It's death metal dance music, perfect for a good Swedish gentleman like
yeah,
yourself.
that sounds very European.
Yes,
Don't go
it
anywhere
does.
just yet.
Yeah, don't go anywhere just yet. As always,
No,
I
I'm
like
not
to
leaving.
wrap up our show by doing a little crossover between us and our Brother Sister Love podcast. Let me ask you a question. This week on Let Me Ask You a Question, they had very, very mysterious artist known as Tobacco, Tobaxxo, Tobacco.
That's how you spell tobacco.
That's how he spells
That's my
his name.
favorite tobacco.
Not
Like hip hop artist Tobacco? Like an artist Tobacco?
no, like Tobacco from Black Moth Super Rainbow.
He's
like 50?
Yeah, it could be. It literally could be him.
Okay.
It literally. Let me look this up real quick. But either way, Anthony every
It's not how he
week
spelled. Like he spells
likes
it
to
with
ask.
C's.
He might only spell it like that way because to get Devil's Night. I don't know. He's got. I'll look him up. But either way, let me ask you a question. I always like to ask the question. So let's hit our wonderful little theme song while I look this up here.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question from. Let me ask you a question.
Alrighty, guys. So as I was saying, every week we like to ask the question from "Let Me Ask You a Question," and we're discovering now that the guy that we were talking about, Tobacco, is the Tobacco that you know of.
Oh, he had a couple jammers that I
He was
really liked. He had a song with Beck.
he had a song with Beck.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Eric listed him as Black Moth, Super Rainbow,
Yep.
Malibu Ken, Demon Queen, etc.
Yep.
So he was the guest that followed me then on Let Me Ask You a Question. Is that
dude,
pretty
it
sweet?
was, that
pretty
when the
awesome.
album came out, Manic Me,
Okay.
he had a song with Beck on it called Fresh Hacks, and that
Jesus.
shit was like, that was like one of the first artists that I was like, okay, synths are cool.
Synths are
Yeah.
cool.
Synths are
More than
useful
just-
for more than just intros and outros.
Well,
to
hey,
metal
now
songs.
we've got a 1 degree separation between us and them.
That is
so
true.
Oh,
we need to work on
yeah.
getting Tobacco on our show through all of this. But the question that Anthony asked this week is: are there any social niceties, anything that's like kind of a required social thing that you despise? And a couple of examples to give you guys a little bit of time to think here. They were talking about things like telling somebody their baby's cute, and they have an ugly ass baby. And you just have to be like, no, your adorable baby, a pretty baby. And you're like, no, your baby looks like Gollum covered in shit. Like, I'm sorry. It just looks like, not even Gollum. It looks like a Gollum covered in shit. Or things like, you went to a performance of a friend's play or band, and a lot of energy went into it. And you just had to be like, yeah, man, that was so good. That was so amazing. I'm so glad you had such a great time. So are there any, and we'll start with Justin here, any social niceties that you despise? Anything that you're just like, fuck this, don't want to do it?
Mine are more region-locked things.
Okay, that works.
One is when you go down south, being from the north, I hate when I go into a store and the first fucking thing, some person runs up to you, they have a giant smile on their face, and they're like, can we help you find anything? And I'm like, I've never been to your store. I don't know what the fuck I really want. Yeah. Who the fuck are you? What the fuck's going on?
Why are you smiling so much?
Because to me that seems like fake. Accent? Being in the Northeast, like, people don't fucking do that.
No. You walk into a CVS up here, they just do hi.
You have to ring a bell to get service. And half the time you're waiting 15 minutes. So, I mean, let's fucking face it. Another thing is, when bands are playing at a location and they scream the fucking, like, the town that you're in. Like, hey, Philly, and people fucking lose their shit. I'm like, I don't understand.
Do you not like that from the band standpoint, though? Do you think the band
I know what the band's
obligated?
The band's doing it to get a reaction out of the crowd. Yeah. To get people hyped. You're in their town. They're in your town. No. Yeah, somebody from California that you've fucking loved your whole entire life. Like, they're at my town and they're saying my town. You know? I mean, it'd be different if they were like, yo, Kyle, thanks for being at my show. And you'd be like, holy fuck. You know what I mean?
They thanked me.
I like when they do it the wrong way. Like, when you're seeing a band in Strasbourg, we're like, Scranton! We're like, fuck you! We're not Scranton!
Yeah. Back in the day, at the Scott Run, when Scott Run was the host of the Underworld, everybody would say thank you, Scrotum, very much.
Scrotum!
And that was, I remember Bigwig especially being like, we're loving being back here in Scrotum, Pennsylvania. It feels like.
I didn't think this one up. I'm reading Charlie's, but I agree with him. Apologizing for last night's text. Fuck off, no regrets, Karen.
Yeah.
I don't, regardless if you got fucked up or not, that was within your mindset somewhere.
So so you're not liking apologizing for something that you said.
Because it was already a thought in your head somewhere.
And then waking up the next morning and being like, shit, I should probably say sorry about that, but you don't want to.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, what about you? Any social niceties, anything that you do out of politeness?
Yeah, the number one thing that will drives me up the wall is when people wave you on in traffic.
Oh my God.
Okay, now
we've talked about this
because that's
before.
your responsibility. Even though if they're waving you on, if you get in an accident, that's your responsibility for not yielding.
I drive a lot for work, especially with a big truck and a trailer and equipment. And also, I've been a motorcyclist for a long time. Sure. And you cannot trust any fucking person in a vehicle.
Well, you learned that recently.
If your fucking blinker's on, I do not trust that you are turning the way your blinker says. Nope. Because I've seen tons of people put the left blinker on and make it right.
Yeah.
Sure.
So when I'm the way the rules work is, say we're at a 4-way stop sign. Whoever is the first to the stop sign is the first to pull out.
Exactly.
If you get there before me,
then it's your turn to go.
Then I get there and you wave me on, I'm like, no.
You literally yelled at a dude through your car. He couldn't hear you, and I knew the guy, and I saw him like a week later, and I was like, "Hey, our buddy yelled at you real hard," and he was like, "Oh, I remember that because we got to a stop sign." The kid was waiting. He was already at the stop sign.
Yeah.
And he was going straight. We were turning, so it's like a double bed. And you got to the stop sign. He waves, and you just started shouting, "No, motherfucker, you go! You go!"
Well, because the problem is the people. So if we're in traffic and there's somebody behind, if I'm behind somebody, I can't see that other person in another car waving to that guy on. Yeah. So I'm assuming that everyone is going to follow
the rules
of the road.
Yes. Sure.
I'm not a big fan of rules, but I am a big fan of the fucking rules of the road.
Yep.
And
Because they help
Because
everybody.
if everyone is on the same page, then there's less
It's
traffic.
no different. It's no different
Yep.
when you're driving down the fucking highway and there's a sign that says, "Hey, in 2 miles, left lane's
Yeah,
gonna
and
be
you
closed."
wait to the last 7 feet to fucking merge.
Dude, merge and everybody.
You know what
There's
I-
no
you know what I
fucking
do?
traffic. There's
When
no
you-
traffic.
When I'm in the truck with the trailer, I get in the middle.
And you block everybody?
And I block it. I
Good.
just don't give a fuck.
You're a social justice warrior on the road in that way.
Yeah, dude, that drives me nuts. It's like there would be less traffic, less
Yes.
accidents,
Yeah.
less people dying if everyone followed the same rules of
easy.
stop signs, stoplights, and turn signals.
Yeah.
And you waving me on
Turn
because you
signal's the
think
big
you're
one,
being
dude.
nice
Because
to me?
exactly, and that's the problem.
By you thinking
Is
you're
it
being nice to me,
stemmed in
you're
a-
actually doing damage to everyone
Everybody.
behind us.
Yeah. You were thinking, because I'm being socially. Oh, hi, I'll just wave you on.
Well, I
Not
had
good. Not
I
good.
had sort of the opposite happen to me not that long ago. We were out biking one day in Holly, and on the streets, like the crosswalks and whatever. And I come up to the crosswalk to go to the other side of the street, and I see one car, and they stop for me, and I'm like trying to wave them on, and they just won't budge, and I'm like, there was nobody behind you. You didn't have to stop for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now there's two sides that now I look like an asshole because I'm like, no, don't go. Just keep moving.
Yeah.
Like, I understand it's your responsibility to watch for
Pedestrians, and
pedestrians,
all that,
but
yeah.
I wasn't ready to cross, so I'm like fucking waving
But a
these people on.
bicyclist is not a pedestrian.
No, that's true.
What? All these fucking tight pants, Tour de France fucking guys.
Yeah.
Drive me fucking nuts, dude. It's like these bicyclists don't have to obey the car rules, and they also don't obey the pedestrian rules.
They
don't.
They're like
They
in this
don't.
They
weird
get to
Yeah,
skirt
gray
on
area
the
where,
gray
like,
line.
yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Unless you're in Portland, then bike law everywhere because
Yes.
they have the
Yeah.
they have
Or
the right.
Colorado.
Maybe it's just
And Colorado.
Maybe it's just my inner road rage that comes out.
Maybe.
Watching dumb people try to navigate
Yeah.
the planet in high-powered
That's
vehicles.
fair. Hey man, that's fair. That's fair. Now, Ego, you have a very special circumstance in being somebody that is from another country
Yes.
that moved here. Do you have any social niceties that either you were able to leave behind,
or that you miss,
or that you miss, or that you got here and you went, "Why the fuck are they doing that?" Was there anything that was a bizarre change to you when you moved here?
So the whole concept of asking somebody how they're doing,
Oh,
Oh,
of course.
oh,
In Sweden, if you ask somebody how they're doing,
you get an answer.
you want an answer. But of course, in Sweden, if you talk to a stranger on the street, you're also insane.
Okay.
okay.
That doesn't help when somebody comes up and talks to you on the street and they ask you how you're doing.
Will they do like a nice nod and a wave at you, like, "Hey, how
Yeah.
you doing?" and just walk by, or like, is that awkward, or is it somebody going, "Oh, hey, how's your day been?"
I have used this example in the past where people have asked. So, when you go to the grocery store in the U.S. will have an aisle that is, 10, 15 feet wide.
Yeah.
Right.
You can easily pass people in the aisle without bothering them.
Sure.
And you still will say, "Excuse me," as you walk by them. That's kind of like the American way. But then you come to Sweden, and the aisle is 4 feet wide. You cannot pass anyone. And instead of, trying to show people that, hey, I need in here, and, you will either stand there and stare at them silently,
I like that approach.
or you will back out of the aisle, go down the other aisle, around, and then come all the way around.
Okay.
So you're avoiding the issue by
Yes.
either staring it head on or physically going all the way. See, I
Circumvent.
enjoy the staring aspect. I like to do that when somebody's doing something wrong. I will stare at them, and in my head, I'm looking at you until you realize what you're doing wrong. And most of the time, the problem is that they don't know that they're doing something wrong. They don't understand that there's a 14-foot wide aisle. I'm smack dab in the middle of it with my cart, little left of centered, and I'm looking to the right, and I'm like peering at all the options for tuna fish in a can, and I'm taking 10 minutes. I will stare at them like, Why? But I won't say anything. Maybe that's the Swedish.
I do.
Maybe
It
might be the Swedish.
I do agree with you in the sense of people asking you how you're doing, because 90% of the time they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, how
so
you doing?
saying how you doing.
Usually the answer to how are you doing is, hey, how are you doing? Yeah. It's never like, oh, I'm doing good. It's, how's it going? Yeah, man, what's up?
Yeah, good. How you doing?
Good. How you been?
How's it going? And they say, "What's up?" It's 2 questions.
Yeah.
And no answers.
And no answers.
That's it. I've read this on Reddit and other things like that where people from other countries will like totally not understand that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
we are
like growing
total
up in
assholes with
America.
that.
That's just
You can have a conversation
that's
that
how
is
we
literally
talk.
2 syllables long. Yo, sup, and walk away, and you're totally fine. Now, I would say for me, the social nicety, and it's something that I don't mind it happening, but it throws me off, and it throws me under the bus of not having this social nicety. And maybe it's my upbringing, maybe it's something, but there's this one gentleman that comes into the bar, used to come into the bar that I used to work at.
When
before
bars
all
used
this.
to be
Remember bars?
I don't remember what's a bar.
So when I used to sling beers at a bar, there was this one guy that, without fail, if you were sitting there drinking and you mentioned that you were military, ever in your life,
we were talking about this too.
If you were like, oh yeah, I was in Nam, or I was in Korea, or more current, I was in Afghanistan, or I was just enlisted from 96 to 2000 and I was there between Bosnia and 9/11 and I did nothing. Anybody that's military, this one gentleman always goes, thank you for your service. And then I have to be like, oh, do I also thank you for you were drafted, you chose, do I now thank you for your service? And I don't want to be a dick, but the worst time it ever happened to me was I was in a Cracker Barrel and I had my back to the whole room, and it was me, my ex, and her daughter, and all of a sudden I'm eating my fucking fried chicken and biscuits or whatever. And all of a sudden, I'm like mid-bite, and I look around, and everybody in the room next to me is standing up and facing the other way. And I'm like, what the? So I like turn around to see like what's going on, and it's a procession of injured veterans. And I would never take anything away from somebody who served their country and got injured. But I was not aware of this normal.
I didn't know. I don't know about this.
This social nicety, as you say, where everybody stands when a vet walks into this place. And it's, for me, it's not a lack of respect or anything like that. It is a lack of, somebody tells me they're in the military, somebody tells me anything, somebody tells me something and I'm supposed to answer with thank you for that. Like, you're bringing it up and now I have to thank you for it. It's like my grandfather invented peanut butter ripple ice cream. Do I thank you? Do I just thank everybody? I love peanut butter ripple ice cream.
What if you meet a girl and she's like, "Yeah, I'm a hooker. You should be
thank you for your service." Thank you. I feel like you should thank everybody for their service.
I agree
so it
with
should
you.
be unsaid.
I agree with you because we were talking about this in the sense that there are some people who pry for that, and I'm not trying to anybody that's done military service, most of my family has done it, and I have friends that are in it, and yes, what you're doing, not everybody can do, and it's a fucking crazy job to sign up for. We could have done so through high school, or right after high school. It's something that I didn't want to get into. But I mean, it gets to a point where you get put in such fucking weird situations with people, like you said, I didn't say thank you to some dude who served in the military, but now everybody else says, and
everybody's buying this guy a beer because he mentioned the tour he did, and you're just like,
I'm not taking anything against anybody.
Am I the dick now? Am I the dick because I didn't know about this?
But then you run into people like Dennis.
Didn't care?
You run into people like
the weird thing too, though, is that you are not the veteran or the service member is not going to feel offended if you don't thank them.
Oh yeah, it's nothing to do with the service member. It's the other guy.
Yes,
it's the other guy. It was like, you didn't thank him too.
You're putting your guilt on me.
Yeah. Because usually it's a guy that's over 50 years old that is saying this. This guy specifically is like in his 70s, and I'm like, oh, you feel bad because you didn't get drafted into Nam, so you're saying thank you to your service, and maybe that's a cultural, time-sensitive thing that I'm not going to unthank somebody for their service.
Sure.
If I know
Obviously,
you,
thank you for
protecting our country and our freedom and all of that. But at the same time, along with my freedom comes the fact that, like, I don't have to. But again, like you said, Justin, it's not the person that served that's going to be offended.
Well, no, Ego.
Ego said it. It's going to be the guy who brought up, like, hey, I was complimenting him. How did you not compliment him?
What were you going to say, Ego?
No, but that's the thing, right? That person, the service member, the veteran, is not expecting that, but somebody else is expecting you to do it. The even a more interesting situation is when you're two of you.
Yeah.
And you're two former service members, like, usually if you talk about it and you figure it out and it's like, oh yeah, cool. You don't like thank the person and then because are they not supposed to thank you back?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, am I thanking you so you can thank me? Am I fishing for it? It's like, no, we shut up and, and normally.
And it's not like we go around thanking each other for being taxpayers. Like, thank you for your service to the country, your civil duty of paying your taxes and making sure that everybody makes money.
Hey, did you pay your fucking taxes?
You paid your taxes? Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
right.
but that's also, I mean, and not to take up a ton of time, but the people that have done military service and have been, doing something more than maybe just working on the home front.
Sure.
It's hard to word it, but the people that have been in the shit, right? Generally, they don't talk about being in the shit.
Right.
Most of the time. Most of the time you hear someone talking about a lot of, like, stories from...
Well, that's why I was bringing up Dennis, not to throw Dennis under the bus, but there's plenty of times where he was in the Army and stuff, and he'd be like, I'd be working with him, he's like, oh man, in the fucking Army, I killed so many people, and I'm like, you wouldn't be fucking telling me this if you actually did that. Like, unless you have some really weird fucking wired connection that's way off, and that's in your brain just cannot let that go, and it's really fucking bothering you, but everything else seems semi-normal.
Yeah.
So there's no way that you did what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not impressed. I don't
Stolen
care.
valor. Is that what we're talking
the
about?
stolen valor is the
was,
idea.
No.
Yeah.
He was actually military. It's not stolen valor.
But stolen valor can be people that are in military that go, oh,
True.
I was in the shit, and you're like,
Yeah,
no,
true.
you're a scrub.
True.
You weren't, and that's another thing that I've experienced working in a dive bar, where a guy will come in and talk a big fucking game as being former military, and then another guy who I know for a fact was in the shit, like, for whatever reason, just my personal knowledge of the guy, I know that guy really saw action. And he looks at the other person and rolls his eyes and goes, you wouldn't be talking like that.
Exactly.
You wouldn't be talking like that. You wouldn't be.
Almost making it proud that you did this to somebody else. Like,
yeah, I worked with a guy for years in security, through law enforcement and security. Mm-hmm. And we were good friends. And I knew that he had served, and he knew that I had, and that was about it. Right. And it took, I think, 3 years until I found out that he was actually in Mogadishu during the events of Black Hawk Down. He was one of the Rangers. He was one of the Rangers on the ground.
Was he Ewan McGregor?
3 years of working with the guy every day.
That's insane.
Jesus, yeah, exactly. So, yeah. So
that just goes to show you, yes.
Like, either way, I just want to wrap
not only that,
up.
one last thing. Not only that, but a lot of military, like my aunt, like when WikiLeaks came out, I was like, oh, you're military. Can you just, I'll give you like this page. Like, not that I really gave a fuck about what WikiLeaks was, but can you read some of this? And she's like, you're not military? I'm straight up like, buy the books on it. Like, if you were military, cool, we could have a fucking conversation about
but you're
this.
not,
But
so
I'm
we're
not talking to you about this.
Yeah.
A lot of those people keep it in that same vein. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it's that bond that you share being military with somebody else too.
Yeah.
Like if you're military, you guys have that bond. I don't.
Yep. Yeah, and to go around and brag to people that don't know about what you did just kind of comes off a little fake. But either way, to wrap this whole segment up, I just want to say thank you to everybody for your services.
Yeah, for sure.
If you've served, I do want to thank
Whether
you.
you're in the military or you're a whore.
Whatever you're doing, if you're servicing people, I appreciate it.
Paying
I
taxes.
appreciate it immensely. If you're sucking dick for a living and paying taxes, you are
You're doing something. You're doing something wrong.
oh my God, you're a hero, and you should be tax-free living. All right. Well, again, a huge thank you to EgoViking for being on this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a blast, man. Hopefully, we'll have you on again in the future.
Yeah, man.
And good luck with the opening up of South Carolina. And let's stay safe.
Go get your haircut day one.
Yeah,
I mean, I
stay
know
healthy.
you're waiting.
Your hair's getting real long there. It looks. Yeah, the sides are starting to grow out, man. The sides are starting to grow out. As always, big shout out to the guys over at Moot.tv, Mr. EJ5000, and our brother sister of the podcast. Let me ask you a question. And now you can also check out, I think, the first 7 episodes of the Derek D Dozen available from Moot.tv from comedian Derek DeAngelis. You can check all of those out. They drop every Monday alongside ours on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, whatever you want to call it, Stitcher, and now Spotify. You can check all this shit out. Big thank you to the Midnight Horrors for letting us play their new single.
Hell yeah.
Go check them out again on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, everywhere you can find music. The Midnight Horrors. And a huge thank you to Mr. Justin Olimpado for putting this all together
Real
tonight.
quick,
Yes,
Jose
sir.
Fernandez says, in Portugal, we say something like, hey, how's it going? And then reply with, good, how about you? And then bolt the fuck out of there.
Yeah, good. How about you is where you need to end that. I think that's a good ending on the social niceties there. All right. Well, thank you, Justin,
Anytime,
for getting
dude.
everything together. And as always, a big thank you to Mr. Zachary.
Tobacco, I'm a big fan. Can we meet him?
Starman! All right. I'll talk to Eric. I'll send this to Eric and be like, yo, we got questions about tobacco. I will say that all of the pictures that they have posted with him, his face is blurred out. And apparently he's never shown his face on like social media or anything like that. Obviously live, I'm assuming you see him. But they have pictures of them like having dinner with him and his face is all blurred out and everything. All right, so go check out all the other Moot.tv shows. We will be back next Tuesday live at 9 o'clock, and every Tuesday after that until we decide to
Die.
I think that's what it is at this point. All
Until
right,
we're
guys.
allowed out of our house and we can...
Till we can do things.
stuff,
Till we
maybe.
can. We
No,
had plans.
we'll still be doing this.
We had plans for this spring to do like outside. We were gonna do yoga. We were gonna get tattoos.
Oh,
None of
yeah,
that
dude.
shit fucking happened.
It might
so
be a winter thing.
it might have to be a winter thing. Outdoor yoga in the winter is gonna be great. All right, guys. So we will again be back next Tuesday, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Central Standard Time. Eastern Central Standard Time. 9 p.m. 8 Central. And
gave
for
you a
Kyle
show?
Mocha Won't Shut Up, I am Kyle Mocha. Here is our closing theme song to play you out.
Go check out Ego's channel.
Yeah, go check out EgoViking. And as always, Zach,
Fuck you.
fuck you. Yeah. Okay,
Fuck
good.
the fans.
Fuck the fans. Fuck
Fuck
you for listening.
Fuck the people.
Well, we're going to play this song for you guys, but we don't love you. We don't like you. We don't respect you.
That's not true.
We love you.
Thank you for your
being here.
schwervis.
Thank you for your schwervis. We'll see you next
Thanks for
time.
the shawarma.
Shawarma.
Thank you for the Dennis Shawarma. Who is Dennis Shawarma? Who is he? All right, guys. Have a good night.
Later.